So, in the last session, you successfully dispatched a bunch of spider and spider folk, and was a massive explosion within the huge hole underneath the web. A new quote-unquote friend was found in Clovis, who ran basically up to the ship to you guys as this battle was ensuing. And Blackstar and Grignac had a grand old time setting things on fire and kind of doing the opposite of cool guys don't look at explosions. He was very intent on focusing on that as it was occurring. He then traveled a short distance away as you were still looking for a spot to rest for the evening. And on the way, after having landed and having some conversations, Clovis divulged a large number of things about himself and kind of where he's from. And I'm not exactly certain whether or not you left it where he's joining the party or if he's just coming with you for the time being. And being
He's only coming with us right now. Nothing's been decided.
Okay.
He's short, and I don't trust him.
Him and Blackstar share a common enemy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
Victor.
Yep. Victor, that was established. Yep, for sure. Small little excursion with Garen, and I'm not sure who went with Garen out into the woods and then came back.
It was just me.
Was Clovis. Yep. Flying back over the treetops, seeing a couple of giant folk heading in your direction, you decided to, after finally getting in your long rest, getting into the ship and heading off, continuing your journey towards Tael Noro. But moments afterwards, B2 had an episode of sorts. A wave of energy kind of washing over him, almost like having a mini heart attack, and realization, this feeling of home calling out to him in the direction of where you're traveling, but kind of higher up in the sky somewhere. And so that is where we pick back up right after that moment.
You did leave out one crucial information, though, and that is that B2 caught Blackstar pickpocketing B2.
Oh.
You know what? I missed that. I couldn't hear that part. What?
I said you missed
B2
the
caught
part.
Blackstar.
Caught Blackstar pickpocketing him.
Yes, he did. That's
Made
right.
Blackstar question everything.
I forgot about that, but I'm so glad I remember now.
Immediate existential crisis for Blackstar because of it.
I was just watching the end of the episode as we were getting together, so
Yes.
fresh in the memory.
Perfect. So
said. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you said there was a bit of a static, like electric charge of some sort, but not like harmful in any way.
Yeah, it's not like you're taking any damage from this, but that description was more from a visualization for others that are around you's perspective. I think maybe B2 doesn't notice the electricity kind of running down his body, and it's not like continuous, it's not ongoing. It's like one, almost like B2's never experienced like a real emotion before, which I'm not saying that that's the case, but like it's an overwhelming feeling of homesickness and knowing that nothing is going to stop him from discovering whatever this is. And so, you have Xander, and I would say B2 is probably up at the front with Xander because you guys are both piloting the puddle jumper. And so whoever was nearby, maybe even Xander, would kind of like glanced over and noticed just a little bit of around the outskirts of your body. But as you breathe this sigh, as the feeling subsides and you're sitting in the chair next to Xander and realizing this feeling is now locked inside of you, you almost like if B2 could sweat, there would be sweat pouring down the sides of B2's face right now.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and I picked up on this, like...
I'll say you look over and you just see him, like, coming out of this.
B2? You're right there.
I do not know. I felt something I've never felt before. And in a way, still feel it. As if I'm being called somewhere. And B2, assuming he's sitting, kind of gets up and stands, and wherever it is in the direction of the ship, but kind of like walks wherever the closest point is on the ship to where that feeling's coming from. So just to see to test to see if it's in the ship, kind of almost, but also just because he doesn't understand what's going on, so he's there's this urge to get up and walk to it.
So it's in the direction of where the puddle jumper's facing.
Okay.
And traveling right now. And
Okay.
so you were sitting kind of in that front cockpit, so you could stand up and kind of lean forward towards the
Very
windshield,
awkwardly.
essentially. It was reach your hand out towards the windshield. You could touch the windshield barely. And it's now just kind of this sickening feeling.
I turn to the group. This group is very important to me, and all of you are very important to me. And I think an error we had in our past is not being honest with each other. And so, in an attempt to grow past it, we cannot go to Tael Noro yet. Something else is calling me elsewhere. It almost feels like home, but also that it's not, and that I have to go there. I do not understand this feeling, nor do I ask that all of you join if you do not wish to, but I am going. And I turn to Xander. If you do not wish to take me there, drop me off and I will start walking.
Are you serious?
I have to go to this for some reason. I don't know why, but it is calling me, and it almost feels if I don't go, I might shut down. There is an overwhelming sense, be it in my programming or be it something that's triggering in Darrow or in both of us, but either way, I have to go. I would, of course, love for you to all join, but I will never force you to do something you don't want to do.
That's the nicest any member of this group's asked for help in a long time. I don't think any of us are going to say no to that.
Say no to what?
B2's got a journey to go on. He's being called somewhere.
It looks like we're not going to be going to Tael Noro for a little bit.
What does he mean by shut down?
Eh.
We're all
We
shut.
still got some stuff to tell you about. It might come up on this trip.
Life is shutting down. Everyone gets older, and worse at the things that they do.
Is this just your reaction to not going to Tael Noro?
Where?
Yeah, all right.
Just wake me when we get there. And Blackstar kind of lays down the best he can.
Perhaps some good rest and more practice will make you feel better, Blackstar. thinking it's just like not anything to do with the pickpocket. Like, soldier training, you know?
Twist the knife.
That's
Yeah.
rough, man. That's
Oh,
really
That's a dig and a half.
Tim
Yeah.
Black Star shudder a little bit.
I don't
Quietly
know.
sobbed into his hands.
I don't know what happened. We hugged, and that was it. And he got very depressing. Do my hugs make people depressed?
um
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
What, did you, like, not have any gold for him to swipe off you or something?
No. he. I noticed that he needed gold, so I tried to give him.
Wait, you need gold? You want some? I'll go
You
for my pouch.
noticed?
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, I think I lost the gold I stole from the chain list.
I wonder where that could have gone, and I will reroute us.
Yeah, new topic.
Headed
Which way we
towards-
heading there, big guy?
I guess I will be the compass. I have a sense of where to go, but right now, flying the direction we are is the correct direction. Though, if we could go a little higher, I believe it's higher up.
Higher
Okay.
up.
I'll bring us higher up, and until he tells me to stop,
Yeah.
and just keep headed forwards.
Okay. Recalling as you climb higher and higher up into the sky, you get to the point where you had considered earlier when you were first traveling in the puddle jumper, and recalling that at a certain point, there's layers of potential spots in the sky where things get stuck for some reason.
Yes.
And so you approach that threshold, and B2, you still sense that it's higher. You know, whatever this is, whatever it is you're being pulled towards, is definitely very high up there, like probably above the clouds. But maybe traveling further and then going up may be a safer route instead of trying to travel at that altitude and having the dangers that come with that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just like relay that to Xander that we should fly maybe even for a bit, and then I'll relay when to climb some more. And I feel like I'm like a pointer dog, just.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So you do travel. You're just keeping on the same heading. It is definitely just towards Tael Noro. So we'll say another like 40 miles. You're traveling. This isn't something that was close, but it was close enough where this feeling has been triggered, right? You get to a certain point as you're traveling through this, and by the way, this is another 4 hours of travel now at this
Okay.
point after the morning. So, is there any other conversations with Clovis or otherwise that would have been had over the course of these next 4 hours?
Probably a bit. Catching him up on a thing here or there. Little idiosyncrasies of the group. Taboos of things not coming up or ask about start to involve him in some of those things, just so that situations don't get super awkward.
Okay.
Maybe a light dusting of information on what B2 is. not like, hey, this is what he is, but like he's a unique case. He's got a lot of terminology that's just for him. Kind of dancing around the issue without saying it, but still kind of addressing some questions.
No. And I think B2 is just like locked in that he's not paying attention to the conversation.
Yeah. Also, definitely having put two and two together would be like poking and prodding at Blackstar a little bit.
Yeah,
once
just
in a
an
while.
intelligence check. See if I would have figured out that B2 is a robot.
Every once in a while, Blackstop will sigh heavily.
When he
Hmm.
sighs, I'll just shock him a little bit.
Shocking him is crazy. Shock
Then the
therapy,
occasion-
dude.
Yeah.
The occasional remark from Brazier of like, sometimes it's good to get back to your roots, reestablish yourself.
That's why he's so
rework on the
sad.
foundations of
He
your
really
craft.
wanted to go back to Tael Noro, so that's why he wanted to go back to his roots.
Just a nice grin on Razier's face the whole time.
I'm so glad you guys are eating it up. Never been
Okay.
caught before.
I think it's perfect.
Really?
B2.
Really? You've never been caught before?
Sir.
B2 or Garen were the perfect choice.
Well,
Maybe Louise saw me once or twice, but he didn't say much. So that's okay.
Mhm. Yeah, this one just hurt a little bit more than any of the others. Yeah. Okay, and so just a quick point of clarification, maybe to help Felix a bit, or to help me to understand and remember. So, like, how much of your previous activities are you telling Clovis about, and your relationship or not with the Chainless, and like what the goal, quote unquote, of the party kind of is? I think you went over some of that last session.
Yeah, we caught him up with, like, we've been dealing with the Chainless. We've probably, like, we've dealt with a couple of bases at this point, but we were going to hold off on this next one
yeah.
till we, like, trained ourselves a bit, so we wouldn't, because we did establish that with him, like, it wouldn't be a right now thing. Yeah, and just the general, like, none of us are cool with the Chainless, and we're all very much against them, and that, and then maybe the, like, in talking about going and getting stronger, we might bring up, oh yeah, we've done a bit of ruins exploration before and got some good stuff out of those, so we're probably looking to do a bit more of that as part of our training montage or whatever.
Gotcha.
So yeah, probably some stuff. Update him on the generic vibe of the group of where we've been, what we've done.
Okay. All right. So then at a certain point during the travel, everyone can look up, and because you're getting to a point now, B2, where the pole becomes more and more upwards, and you're like, not quite yet. And as you get to a point, you tell Xander, and because B2 can control the puddle jumper as well, you kind of like stop the puddle jumper and hover there for a few moments. And by the way, you should remove, I forget, is it one solium per? So about 40. So at this point, you've lost about 40 solium. Only because you're keeping track of that. Everybody can look up through the windshield or whatever other means you're using to look outside of the puddle jumper and see upwards, and way, 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 way up in the sky there is a dot of something that's just up there. It is probably about, we'll say, noon, 1 o'clock, and the sun is shining down. It's kind of like just past its zenith, and this dot is clearly visible. And it's far enough away where you know that it's huge, whatever it is. And you could begin your descent towards it. Yep.
Is that it?
I believe so.
Okay.
I know so.
Garen, can you see what that might be? If it's within a mile, for him to be able to get more details on.
Yeah. No, it's further.
The
I
mothership.
wonder what would it do if we got Garen a spyglass?
I don't
What
know.
would happen? The mile of his ability start from where the spyglass
Where the
can
spyglass
see?
is?
Or does it just add like a foot to his mile?
I can see a mile and a foot.
Well, if it's a 12x zoom, does that mean he can see 12 miles away?
Well, he can see 2 miles away, right? So it'd be 24
Nice.
miles away.
I think it's one. Isn't it 1 mile?
Pretty sure it's one.
Did he
I thought it was
change?
1
The
mile.
ability,
I don't
the
remember.
ability is it's 1 mile.
Is it one?
Basically, anything within 1 mile is like you could see it perfectly as if it was like right in front of him.
Well, I think it's within. It's as though we're 100 feet away. I believe is the description.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty clear.
You're right.
Yeah, as if it was 100 feet away.
Um,
I don't see too good at 100 feet away. I'm gonna be real honest.
Do you see good at 10 feet away?
Yeah, I see great. Got eye surgery.
Yeah, so
So,
I just
do you-
point up and say,
Yeah.
fly.
Okay. So the puddle jumper begins to ascend, and according to Xander's calculations, when this first layer of this sky box, if you will, whatever it is, as you're entering into it, there's an immediate sense from Xander and nobody else, because just of the high affinity to Arcana, there's a little tiny bit of static hiss, almost like when you turn a radio on that's not tuned into any channel, but the volume is so low that you'd have to have your ear right up against the speaker to hear it. And if you were to turn it up louder and louder, that just begins to increase ever so slightly as you ascend upwards. The exterior of the puddle jumper, after like a minute of ascending, I would say it doesn't go up quite as fast as it goes forward. But anyways, a minute of ascending, that static is getting louder and louder, and then gets to a point where Garen can look up and see the underside of it. And he begins to give you a description of it, and as he does, B2, there's more of this electricity that runs through you. And Xander, you pick up on this before anybody else does, and you look over, and you see B2's eyes just like shut off. I don't know. There's no light that comes from. I'm trying to remember the
Yep, there's light.
aesthetic. Okay.
Look
So-
at the picture.
Okay. Yeah. So the okay. The lights just like shut off, and he is just like comatose, standing. Before I get into anything else, does Xander do anything?
I mean, he's kind of like poking at him, but it looks similar to what had happened before, right? Just not a total shutdown.
Right. Before it wasn't a shutdown. Before it was like a feeling that, you know, after having talked to B2 that came over him, this is reminds you of what you go through when you're having your visions. And if you poke him, there's a bit of a flash of imagery in your mind. Just
Okay.
it's so fast that it's imperceptible. Just by simply poking him.
I will put my hand on his shoulder.
Okay. Perfect.
Cool, the two pilots in Comatose.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right. We're on autopilot.
So
This is a Boeing 747. It's the most reliable plane in the world.
Blackstar and Clovis and Razir are kind of paying attention to Garen. Why am I hearing myself? Paying attention to Garen as he describes what he's seeing up above, which is the underside of a massive castle keep, or at least a portion of it, that is made of black stone and obsidian, polished and reflecting with the sun as it shines down. It looks like a section of it has been severed, or like a sliver of it has been cut out and is almost like statically jittering in place, but is being held aloft. And it is just a huge section of it that's way up in the sky. As he's going over this description and the puddle jumper continues to ascend, B2, you're sitting in a seat. It is the seat of a soldier. There are many others lined left and right of you. You look to your right, Xander is sitting in the seat next to you. But it's not Xander. It's another soldier. But you know it's Xander sitting next to you. And there's you're basically inside of some giant vessel. The interior of this looks like a hallway of some kind of like you'd be inside of a castle. But there's chairs that are all lined up. And all of a sudden, a massive orb kind of in the center of this hallway like flickers into existence. It's like purple and blue, writhing energy around it. And the floor of where you're sitting right now opens up like a drop ship from some futuristic vessel that B2's never seen before. And there's levers to the side of these chairs that everybody's strapped into, and people start pulling the levers, and below you is just the sky and the ground far below. And this is a dropship that is dropping off soldiers, and you don't know what time this is. You don't know why you're here, who all these other people are. All the other people that are here are also Warforged. They all have designations. They all look of a similar make to B2. And you go to pull your lever because this is what you're here to do. And a bolt of energy flies out of this orb and strikes you in the chest. And there's like a immediate sense of shock, and your mind blanks for a moment, and you wake up smoking on the side of a mountain hill, looking up at a starry sky. Another flash, and you're laying in a battlefield, and you're like, what the heck? There's like dead bodies everywhere. A figure with white hair, a woman, walks through, looking over the bodies. The bodies around, none of them are Warforged on this battlefield.
Okay.
There's not a Warforged in sight. This woman walks over and looks at you, and your eyes go blank, but you don't go to another part of whatever this vision is. But you hear her voice. What is this? This is incredible. Who? What? And then another flash, and she's gone. You're in another place. You're being held upside down in some strange cavern somewhere where the gravity is reversed, and you see writhing masses of tentacles from underneath, and as if you've just been teleported to this space. And then you see another one, and another one, and another one, in rapid succession of all different locations of, you know that you've just pulled this lever and you've been shunted somewhere. But it isn't happening in rapid succession. These are different versions of you being shunted to other places all at the same time. And your mind, just before it comes back to you inside of the puddle jumper, you hear the voice of this woman with the white hair. We can use this. I can fix him. And then, and you're back in the puddle jumper. And Xander witnessed all of this.
Whoa, ho, ho, ho.
Man, that sounds like it'd be an awesome intro to somebody getting Echo Knight Fighter.
I will just turn my head and look at him.
Who was she? Wasn't she? I've seen her before. Xander, who was she?
Any guesses, Tim? Do I have any inkling?
Well, you saw during the battle with Cerberoth.
I'm about to say, didn't some white-haired woman kneel over B2 at that fight?
It was
Yes,
Darrow.
that's right.
Darrow was the one who was
Darrow,
fighting.
that's right.
That's
forgot.
right. Yeah.
I can never keep the two separate. It was the same person to me.
She was like aiding him or encouraging him, emboldening him to go forward in that vision that you were having as all the shards came crashing down to kill everyone. That's
Right, yes.
when you saw
I
her.
remember
And
that.
she was sitting on Enosis, the tree ant's shoulder, kind of waving. I don't think anybody saw that.
Yeah,
except
you said
for
only I saw her.
Darrow
on
just saw
the
that
Enosis.
particular
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah, it was just during the vision you saw her. You know what? Go ahead and make a history check for me.
You know I love making those. That sucked. Total 17.
4 for 17. The likeness of this individual that you only saw briefly in both instances, you feel like there was a statue underneath Anaria's watch that bared a striking resemblance to this woman.
A statue underneath an
That everyone
watch?
saw, by the way.
Even me?
Nope. It's at this moment there's like an alarm that goes off inside of the puddle jumper as like the hull you hear like crunching on the outside as some kind of pressure is being exerted on the outside of the hull of the puddle jumper, and it's continued to ascend as this was happening. And the description from Garen, you guys are still heading towards it, but it like on the view screen or whatever, the data you're given on the dashboard of the puddle jumper, that you're reaching like critical pressure on the outside, and something bad is going to happen soon. I don't know if there's anything that anyone on board can do.
Sorry, Tim. Did I catch the race of this person?
Sure. Yep. Hold on 1 second.
I mean, I think I
Elven
can
or
deduce... Huh?
Is she elven or is she a tiefling?
Well,
Meanwhile, Chris is like, how do you not remember what her race is?
It's a basic answer.
I'm pretty certain that I mean, I actually don't know, but
Let's see.
from using context clues, I can deduce. Is it a satyr?
No.
No,
Wow,
Haters.
way off the mark.
dude.
Which
I
one
have
was
all
a
the
satyr?
statues written down here. Fioras, crucial in the evacuation of thousands to the Feywild, prime sealer of the realm gates.
Wow, do I really not? I mean, okay, so she's elven.
Okay, because the only elven statue that I have from that is Voodoo's Grey.
No. You're thinking of the
Rising Requiem.
But the super
Requiem.
soldiers, yeah.
the statues in the basement of Anaria's watch. There were 4 stone
Anarius-
ones and 4 gold ones.
I was
yes,
gonna say, yeah.
yes. Okay,
Lady Eloin Moonshadow, perhaps.
yes. Yeah, probably.
Can someone post that? Because I don't have notes on those things at all.
I didn't get all the names of stuff.
All right, Tim, just share all your notes. So we. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Appreciate that.
I'll get that to you in a couple years once you finish the campaign.
I feel like Tim, that's not helpful at all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, anybody who remembers, you would say that if you were I don't know if you're having this conversation, but yeah, she has a striking similar resemblance to what we'll say Razir just brought up.
Thank you, Razir. I've added them to my notes.
How far away are we from this dot now that the pressure's starting to...
Yeah, right now you're like maybe 800 feet from the bottom of this, which even at that range, everybody can see now. It's this towering mass. So, like there is a tower, like a section of a tower, and it looks like a midsection of the castle and like a hallway and like a curved section was just sliced out of whatever this bastion was at one time. You're not entirely certain why it's up in the air. I would say the underside of it does have almost like a floating island aesthetic to it, where there's like the rocks that kind of come down to a point at the bottom, like it was a flying castle. I don't know, but it has that like I should be in the sky, but I'm a castle. And so then the other parts of it are like jagged edges of obsidian, where this was constructed specifically to, I would say, those who are more, based in Arcana, and even B2, as B2's actually seeing this, coming out of those visions, looking up and seeing this, there's memories, just flashes of imagery of like, I've seen maybe not this exact one before, but I've seen something that looks exactly like this, and we're possibly, well, I'm not going to say that. It got stuck in the sky. I'm just going to say that. Just like anything else that could possibly have been flying through the air up this high.
Yeah. I think as B2 comes back, he's not getting the signals that the hull is being damaged, and is just still steering forward.
What's that horrible noise?
Hey guys, I don't know if our vehicle here likes what we're going through.
Yeah. I'm working on it. Sorry.
How are you working on it?
I will try and finagle something to make the damage, at least the alarm, kind of go off. Because I mean, it seems like we're headed towards this thing regardless, right? Like we're not.
Yeah, I mean, as it is right now, you've been going in just a straight up motion, so maybe adjusting something in some way, adjusting your trajectory in some way. Are there any are there any spells you could try and go faster? You could try all kinds of different things. Is there anything that anyone could maybe attempt, even outside of the specific descriptions of the spells that you have? That might
We're pretty high up right now, right?
You're very high. You're miles in the air.
So there must be wind, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can control the direction of the wind within 100-foot radius around me.
Okay.
What's the noise being made from? Why is everything getting smaller?
We're going up, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I'll try and move to change the direction of the wind so it goes up.
Okay. You
speed us along.
change the direction of the wind, and you do get a bit of ascension from that. I will say, what roll would you make an Arcana check?
Oh yes, I'm good at those.
26.
Okay. All right.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah. So the beeping subsides. The puddle jumper goes careening upwards ever faster, and it's just approaching more and more and more rapidly. And you hear like the like creaking sound of some of the metal on the outside of it. You're not entirely certain how the solar panels are faring in this environment right now, but if the metal of the puddle jumper is having a hard time, it's made out of probably materials that are not quite as strong as the hull itself, so that might take a bit of investigating after you get out of whatever the situation is.
Why is this happening?
Why is Blackstar so depressed tonight?
I failed.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
I'll shock him a little bit.
Stop shaking me.
Shocking.
Stop that too. What's the noise from? Why is this beeping happening? I'm trying to have an existential crisis in peace.
Well, I think you might have your existential crisis while we plummet down back to Earth.
I'd rather not plummet anywhere. What's the problem?
I don't know.
Kind of like, when we're in a big pan and it's kind of being squished, it seems like. we're going through some. Remember, Xander was talking about spots in the sky that people get stuck and because they get grabbed or something.
I remember half of what he told me.
Yeah, we're. Hey guys up front, are we sure pushing through this is a good idea?
B2 is still just locked in.
And Xander went to pee out the back, so.
Quick, Garrett, data controls.
Oh, yeah. If we get within 30 feet, I would like to do something.
Okay. I'll say that with the wind and Xander probably to some extent changing the trajectory, so you're not going to have a collision course with this thing. You're not going to be. You want to rise up next to it, not directly beneath it, right? So there is the puddle jumper seems to get slower and slower, and the creaking gets a little bit louder and a little bit louder, and eventually the puddle jumper, despite trying to get it to rise further, stops about maybe, we'll say, about 100 feet away from the edge of this thing, and about on an angle about 30 feet down. So it's like almost level with it, and it just stops. Puddle jumper is now lodged in the sky.
Well, at least we've stopped. Xander, why'd we stop? Are we there?
Tim, logistical question. If I used Wall of Force to give us a ramp to move up using the puddle jumper, is that viable? If I'm technically just driving straight, but the puddle jumper is grinding against the Wall of Force and moving upwards.
Why do we hate our puddle jumper so much?
Just got it. Treating it real rough.
Yeah,
technology
that's why
we
we
don't
can't have.
understand.
This is why we can't have nice things.
You're saying ramp, but you're talking about
Gary,
a wall that the puddle
you
jumper would be
are-
grinding against as it's trying to travel
You can-
upwards, right?
Well, I can maneuver
You can place it however you want.
Yeah, I can place it however I want.
Okay.
So I would be trying to place it like a smooth, like if I can gently angle the puddle jumper upwards to go up a ramp without damaging it as much as possible, then I would. If that's not an option, then I would try and just like make an angled ramp so that way I'm technically driving straight, but we're going upwards.
Okay. And it's 10-foot panels, right?
Yeah, it's 10-foot panels.
Okay. All right. I will say you could certainly try. Mhm.
Okay. Let's do it. Why not,
Yeah.
right? That sounds pretty cool to me.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I
have something. Go back down. If the pressure outside is great enough to crush this thing, then what do we mere flesh and blood creatures, what chance do we stand on the outside?
Man, what has gotten into you?
Nothing has gotten into me. Not gold into my
You're
pockets.
acting like me.
Well, biscuits.
This is like the first Black Star-esque thing I'm doing ever, and you're like not here to celebrate it.
I turn into Xander. I don't like life. Ha ha.
At least you're playing the part now.
Yeah.
I will cast Wall of Force, and I will do the like straight ramp style to try and damage the puddle jumper as little as possible.
Question:
It's more of a guiding force.
if you create a box out of Wall of Force, is it airtight?
No.
Yes. It would be.
Like
It
you
says
do like
it says
a
nothing can
cube.
physically pass through the wall, but like,
Air is physical.
yeah, I mean, I guess so. But like,
Right.
why would I make a cube around the puddle jumper?
so it doesn't
Why
get
not?
crushed anymore.
Well, yeah, but I can't move the wall of force as we go.
That was going to be my follow-on question, but you've answered it. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's also no guarantee that it's actual air pressure that's doing this damage.
Ooh,
It's Very
ancient
possible magical
Chinese
effect
secrets.
called magic.
You
Which
know what? You do
Xander
bring up.
was picking up on.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Yeah, I'm going to make the straight ramp and just use it as like a gentle guide upwards instead of grinding the puddle jumper against it.
You
Okay.
should have made one inside the puddle jumper so it doesn't collapse on us.
Reinforce the insight.
Yeah.
So there's a certain level of potential success with this, and I'm going to have you roll an Arcana check. And this is to see with one of the panels, because it's important that one of the panels be directly as close to the bottom of the puddle jumper as possible, so that it breaks whatever is happening here that I know what's happening that you guys don't know what's happening, so that it breaks that force from continuing. And if you are successful in that, then you'll break that, and then you'll be on the wall of force, and then you could glide on it upwards with varying degrees of success. I'm gonna put this level of difficulty. Actually, I guess it wouldn't, because you're the one casting the spell and you're doing your calculations. I probably put it at you got like a plus 16, don't you, or a plus 11?
13.
Plus 13. Okay. All right. So just don't roll a natural 1.
Okay, total 17.
Challenge accepted.
Okay.
Silvery
17.
barbs.
Wow. That's funny. Yeah, silvery barbs. Okay, so there's this of these panels being created, and the puddle jumper, which was forcefully it was trying to go upwards. There's like a moment where the force is broken, and there's all the creaking everything returns back to where it was as far as the hull of the puddle jumper, and it starts to go upwards again, right? So you've broken whatever's going on underneath.
Was it like we were being pulled downward?
No, it's pressure from all sides. It's hard to explain without knowing what it is that's causing this.
You can just tell us. It's fine. We won't tell anyone.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'll look back. I'll look back at Black Star, who's still me, and go, "Hold on tight, mini-me," and we'll go upwards.
I don't want to hold on to anything.
Okay. Well, what I'll say is this wall of force, this like pathway that you've created, has created a literal pathway. So you don't actually have to grind on the wall of force. You've made it so that you can now fly directly towards this thing, unhindered at this point.
As Blackstar says, I don't want to hold on to anything. I'm going to cast Mage Hand and just go and hold his hand with the Mage Hand.
I don't like it.
You know what? That's a good idea. I'll do that as well.
No.
Just hold him
No.
both hands.
Ow.
I picture Garen picking him up.
Life is a lie.
What was B2 going to do as you get to 30 feet away from this?
Gonna misty step
to
in it.
the
I
ground.
knew it.
You misty step to...
Two, where like if I can see a spot where I can stand. I
Oh,
misty
okay.
step.
I thought so. You said
Dude,
I misty step to the ground, and
That's
I was
what I
like,
heard.
I was like,
are you crazy?
It's a little out of range, I think.
No,
I
I
didn't
didn't
real-
ground of this.
Does
I
misty
floating
step
is-
cut your momentum?
Is there like ground space outside of the walls, or is it like the walls are straight sheer with the?
So there's no ground space outside of the walls. They are like right up against the edges. But what you do see is because of the severing of this piece of the pie that was cut out of this, you're looking dead on a hallway that would have been like an interior hallway. And you can see inside of it with the sun kind of reflecting off portions of the polished obsidian walls. There are like what look like, for lack of a better explanation, broken coffins on the inside. But the coffins are not made of wood, they're made of metal, and there's tubes sticking out of them, and glass parts, and yeah, I'm describing cryo chambers that are broken, and they're all kind of laid out in this hallway. Yeah, and so, yeah, I mean, 30 feet away, you're looking into this hallway, so you can misty step right onto it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, everybody, you just see B2 is just gone, and now and you're facing it, so you could see him in the hallway now.
Where?
But is he like in front of the ship where we are going?
Mm-hmm.
Blackstar looks.
I'm headed straight towards him.
Like the puddle jumper won't fit in this hallway.
Blackstar
okay.
gets up and walks, and then says, "No, he can't be alone." And I'm just gonna misty step
as well.
Okay, wait.
Xander, try and find a place to park this thing, and I'm gonna Misty step in after it as well.
Do you want me to stay or to go with them?
Is it? I don't care.
You know what? I'll stay because I'm doing like the wind thing right now. Just what's like, all right, we should be good for another 6 seconds.
Okay.
He had constipation there for a second.
Tim, what's the
Yeah.
nearest place for me to park this thing?
How long does your wall of force last?
Well, it's concentration. For 10 minutes.
Okay. I mean, you could you don't know how long you'll be here for, but you could just like back it up to that hallway and have it hover in the air right outside the hallway. If you want to park it and shut it down, you're going to have to fly around the edges of it, but you only have this wall of force hallway that you're on right now that is protected from whatever the forces are that are keeping you from being, or that are trying to get you stuck.
Okay. But if I have it hovering and my wall of force breaks, because I can't hold concentration on other planes, can I?
Yeah, you
no
can.
reason you wouldn't be able to.
Raw? Okay.
Yeah, you totally can.
So if I drop the wall of force concentration, it's going to be back to like the pressurized situation that we were in, presumably.
Unless whatever that is something that moves and passes onwards, and then the puddle jumper is just in free fall.
Tim, I don't want to lose our new toy.
And I'm not in control of what you do.
No, but you are in control of literally everything else.
So you see that like there is to some extent it's open on the top, but there's like maybe if you fly above this thing, it'll protect you. You're not sure. You could, test out some things. Be creative, Jason.
Bring it up and over, park it on top of a wall or something.
Park
Or
on top
inside-
of a wall. Maybe there's a
inside the
parapet
walls.
somewhere. Maybe that tower that you saw as you were approaching. Maybe if you fly above this castle thing,
Yeah,
it's unaffected.
I'll fly around and try and find as safe of a spot as
You
possible.
could try to turn the puddle jumper sideways and fit inside of this hallway and block it off with the puddle jumper, and then it would be
And
sideways.
it would be sideways in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just make sure you
would
back
be,
in.
It would be turned off.
You could
Like it would
turn
be
it off.
safe. It would be safe.
Probably maybe some minor damage.
Like glove.
And what about the things on top of our puddle jumper?
Well, we're
Yeah.
parking on the side, so we don't got to worry about it.
It's not perfectly flat on the side, so it might. Through your calculations, maybe when you turn, like you could back in sideways, and then when you turn it off, it'll rest and then lean slightly, maybe up against the wall. You're not quite sure which way. Yep, this is
Man,
all
this blows.
This is meanwhile, while Xander's figuring that out.
I would say while you've got the wall of force and you have an opportunity to go up, see if what you can see above the walls, if there's a spot that looks like
Yeah.
to go in and then park. Rather than,
Yeah.
and if there isn't, then maybe turn the puddle jumper into a corn dog.
Yeah, I'll go take a look.
Okay.
And over the top and
So
see what's up.
up to above, and so it's like maybe I don't know, maybe 60 or 80 feet high. So you kind of fly up to the top, and you can now get a view of the top of this. It's just it's hard to like tell what's a roof and what was a remnant of a battlement. What's the remnant of the top of a tower? When this thing was, because it is just a sliver of some kind of keep or castle, right? But when it was severed or slivered, that's not really the right word, but you know what I'm getting at. The outside parts of it didn't like crumble and fall off. It's like perfectly intact. Something sliced it, and then it remained perfectly as it was in that sliced section. So, yeah, that looks like there's probably a flat surface up here. There's like another remnant of a tower that's maybe like 100 feet from where you are, that you could park on top of if you fly out and over it and over there. But you'll be away from your friends, and you'll have to somehow traverse the top of this thing to get back to like drop down 80 feet to where your friends are.
All right. Yeah, I'll go to park on one of those flat spots. I'll try and get one that's more secure. Like if this land field were to like tilt or whatever, it would be like caught against things so it wouldn't fall off. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yep.
And I'll do sending and send a message to Razir and go, "You guys left the most indecisive person in charge of parking this vehicle. You're so stupid. I hope Variloth knows you're stupid." And that's the end of
Angry message.
Are we sure that was the message, or just Xander that loud from the airship?
We can just hear him.
Yeah.
You can hear the sending and the.
No,
and
he's
screaming.
saying it out loud. And Louise, forgive me, I'm forgetting your character's name, but you can see Xander like this, and he's like speaking out loud, and he's like, "You idiot! You're so dumb."
I'll go look at Garen. Why is he calling us dumb?
In response, don't forget to turn it off.
Okay, so you find a spot where you can park it. Do the rest of the three of you that are on boots on the ground, is B2 not waiting for anyone? He's just going forward?
No, I thought the way you started there a moment, I thought there was something to be described as I touched. So I wanted to wait and see if there was something. If anything happened when I have appeared in this hallway.
Okay. No.
Okay.
No.
So then, I mean, at the end of this hallway, for the sake of the back, is the open area, is the end.
Right.
Am I being pulled still like down the hallway? Like there's something like this spot in particular?
No, you've arrived. You're here.
Okay.
You are. You feel like in your mind you're like, I don't know what this is. I've never been here before. I've never seen this before. But there's something else, and it isn't Darrow, by the way. It is distinctly not Darrow. That is like also it's like almost like you're having like B2's having a split personality. Like there's memories that are surfacing of, I have been here before. This feels like home. Like I belong here. I need to investigate this and find out what's going on. And the other half of B2 is like, why am I having these feelings? Why am I being drawn here? But I know there's something here, so I must look for it. Right. It's not so strong where you're like charging headlong into Sayor alone, trying to get to the cemetery before everybody else does.
Yeah.
Question real quick. Completely unrelated to everything we're doing, but this is going to eat at me if I don't ask now. When are we trying to meet up again this year?
August 23rd.
Is 23rd the day we'd play, or because the 22nd is the Friday?
I think we said August 23rd was the day to actually play.
Okay.
Correct.
Sorry. Completely
Saturday.
unrelated. I apologize. Keep going.
All good. Yeah, so no extra visions. You do look around B2 and you see the remnants of these like crowd chambers, and next to them there are chairs that are similar to the one you were sitting in the beginning part of that vision that you had just had. And you see like the levers. You look down and there's a crease in the floor. But then you think to yourself, the underside of this is this like stone section. Like how could the whole thing open up? So you're a little confused on that, but it seems right. This seems right. It's a little bit different than how it was in the vision, but this is where you belong. Might be good to have help from the whole party here as you
Related
investigate.
question now. Is there anything valuable looking in this area?
There's lots of shards of glass. There are lots of like tubes and pieces of metal, and there's shards of obsidian that Garen probably might want to pick up one of.
All right. So while we're here, then we've bamped in. He's taking his bearings. Blackstar will depressingly wander in the area that he sees, looking for valuable things and muttering to himself about how life is meaningless.
Okay, perfect.
I think so. B2 doesn't take a moment. Doesn't register like that. He just jumped, Fey jumped, Misty Step. There we go. I was forgetting the term. And I'll be like, Xander, what do you think? And we'll turn and just see Blackstar and Razir.
Xander's not. Oh no, I look like Xander.
Oh yeah, Xander, what are you doing over here?
No. No.
I walk over and pick Xander up.
He doesn't feel like Xander when you pick him up. He feels like Blackstar.
You're warm, Blackstar. I apologize.
I turn back into Blackstar. It's okay.
Your disguise was so good. You're so good at disguises.
You really think so?
I think you are the best. After all, I think you are the best at a lot of things.
Do you?
Yes. I thought of you as my trainer.
I should be honored that you picked up. You know what? It's best that you did anyway. You've learned so much.
From you.
No. Razir, don't worry. It's all right now. We're fine. Where'd everybody else end up?
They're parking the jumper somewhere, landing it somewhere so they can join us here.
All right, hold on. I'll find out where they are.
Quick side question.
Yeah.
Quick side question for Tim. We're more than a mile up. How's the thinness of the air up here for those of the three of us that need to breathe?
You don't
Blackstar.
You don't see anything that would be affecting how the air is up here, but it is fine.
Okay.
That's actually a good. That is a good point. I didn't expect you to park on top of this thing. I wasn't sure what you were gonna do. So I'm sorry. Did Blackstar have something he was gonna say just now, or do?
Nope, don't remember.
No? Okay, because you started to do your hands, jazz hands,
Yeah,
and then
you were gonna detect where they were.
Oh, that's right. I'll find out where they are. Don't worry. I can do this. I put my hands up. I don't know.
Okay, thank you for trying.
I think they're out of range.
Oh. Hopefully they didn't fly away too far then.
Hopefully not. Razir, what do your terrifying eyes see?
I've just got detect magic on.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so everything is magic.
Flashbang.
It's not even faint. It's powerful. This entire place is enchanted. Not every single shard of glass, not every single tube, and like all these things.
Yeah, but every thing is got some magic.
The walls, the floor, everything here is just covered in. It's pretty strong magic. Yeah,
but it's not like it was in an Area's Watch where it was the magical tendrils that were coming from the God Shard.
Nope. Okay,
this is just everything has been.
It's been enchanted.
Okay.
Everything's been enchanted.
Right. Stick your finger out in any direction, and you'll be pointing at something magic. Yep. Oh, yep. The walls, every single thing in here.
Is it the air itself, or is it just the things here?
As far as I can tell, it's the things. Yeah.
What's the nearest thing that Blackstar can pick up?
Well, so you're in this hallway, and it goes for a ways, and you can see that it splits off and goes left and right. And there are a couple of doors that you haven't really gone to investigate or anything like that.
How far are the doors?
The closest one to you is like 15 feet down on the right hand side.
All right, then say less. Blackstar wanders to the door and points at the door.
Yep.
Is it locked? Unlocked?
Try the door handle.
Yeah.
Okay. Try the door handle. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Nice. Oh wait, I'm over here. Sorry, I forgot I cast my screen onto the other side. Ability saves. Dexterity. You said dexterity save?
Mm-hmm.
That is terrible. That was a 12.
12? Okay.
Yep.
You take 10 points of, is it lightning? Yeah, lightning damage. And your hand withers slightly. So it's painful and like more hair or whatever, I don't know, flame, however you describe Black Star's hand, like grows a bit, and your hand gets visually like a year older than the rest of your body.
I shake it.
Okay. Roll a d4.
Biscuits.
It'll be that way for 2 hours.
This is. I look closely at it. Is there anything like I can discern that would have caused this? Is there any traps? Clearly, it's trap, but
there's an enchantment on the door, and unless you're authorized, you are not to enter this door or any of the other doors, for that matter.
I'll go up and try Mage Hand first. See if the door is open. It can be opened with Mage Hand.
Sure. How do I... Let's see. So you can't make a dexterity saving throw for the hand, can you? Can't.
Nope.
It's not an entity.
So.
Okay, if the door is, so you're trying to open it via magical means because it's a spell that is being used by proxy to try and open this door. Make an Arcana check.
19. You know what? I've got a lot of them. I'll throw in a D6 on that. Make it a 22.
How many do you have now?
Figure out what's going on. 4 still.
Okay. There's like a spell that is released from the door that you, with your detect magic, is like a dispel, to try to dispel your hand, but you're able to push past that and resist that dispel magic, and the door is not locked, and the door opens up, and the back portion of this large kind of like antechamber, which has like a skeleton laying on the ground and a couple of tables that are overturned and things that have been lost to time but perfectly preserved. And I did want to mention that amongst all the debris of things having been broken, there is not a single speck of dust on any of this stuff. It's like you're in a time capsule. It's like everything broke and then boop, it stopped. Everything just froze, right? The back portion of this room that you're looking into right now is like blown open, or not blown open, it's cut, right? So you can see outside. And for the first time, even though you had just Misty stepped inside, you see a flicker of some kind of force field where this outside is. I'm not my words tonight. Doesn't bode well for later. But anyways,
Is it right at the threshold where the cut is, or is it like a ways out, like there's a bubble around this place?
It's right at the threshold. Okay. And so here we will cut back to, so as you've opened this door, you take this in, we cut back to Xander and Clovis and the puddle jumper.
And Garen.
And Garen.
They got them.
In case we run into any trouble, I need it to be known that he is there.
Yeah. He Misty stepped with us. It's not there with
you. He got so angry, he teleported.
Just
like Blackstar.
You get the sense that opening I should have mentioned this earlier. It may have changed what your decision was. Opening the gate of the puddle jumper outside of this area that Xander probably would have been able to sense that there was some kind of field around this protecting the inside of it, could prove problematic for those that need to breathe.
Crunch.
Okay.
Dude, that's all three of us.
Yeah. So when we walk out, it's like walking into the void of space. We just.
You turn into icicles.
I mean, you have a new character, right, Felix?
I always do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Say it's like the pressurization on the inside, right? You open up the gate, which kind of makes like a crunching sound as it does, and would pop like a cork.
Yep.
And everything inside of the puddle jumper would be ejected out of it.
Jettisoned into space.
You're not in space.
If we were to open it.
If you were to open it. So you can either go back to plan A, or you can, I don't know, Xander can't teleport, right?
I can teleport him.
I can.
I can teleport Garen as well.
But I mean, it would be fine to get in, but if that's the readings that I'm getting on the pressure on the outside, that doesn't bode well for our bodies either.
Skill issue.
All right, I think I'm gonna just go back to plan A and park this sucker
Sideways.
right in the entryway.
All right. So then that's what you do then. So you take back off. You tell Clovis and Garen kind of what you're feeling on this. Clovis probably. What's Clovis's Arcana?
Plus 11.
Plus 11.
Yeah.
Probably also getting similar feelings on this. So yeah, you go ahead and we'll just kind of skip to the part where you're backing it into you're like on its side now, and we'll say that there are inertial dampeners on this thing. I don't know if that's come into play before or if it will in the future, but you're or has its own gravity, right? So that's the internal gravity. That's the thing that comes into play here, because you're like on your side, backing it, into this hallway.
Yeah, I mean, we've pointed it straight down before, and no one fell into the window.
Nobody had any problems.
Oh, I thought we stood on like the
we
backs of
did
chairs or
stand
something.
on the thing. Yeah, that's right.
So for this, he would just like stand on the side of the wall and hit buttons to control it.
There you go.
Joystick or whatever it is.
Yep, joystick. Yeah, he's using a Logitech, a $20 Logitech controller to control this thing.
It's Star Wars TIE Fighter X-Wing style.
Mm-hmm. Highly pressurized environment. Okay, you back the thing in, you open up the hatch, you are now in the hallway. Your friends are they're less than 50 feet from where you are. The door is open.
Oh, they're here.
B2 though is
So
gonna go
stupid.
while they're chiming with each other, is gonna go to the lever though, and not sit in the chair, but pull the lever to see what happens, because he knows that something's supposed to happen. So he's curious what happens.
Okay, so two things. Having seen what you saw in the vision, are you sure that's what you want to do?
Not anymore.
I am now concerned.
I mean,
I guess it's more that, like, because it's in a different scenario. Like, we're in this, there's rock below. I don't know if it's necessarily pulling the lever to cause something, but I guess maybe just investigating the area. Like, why is it? I saw this in a airship, and now we're in a floating part of the castle. Like,
right.
What is this connection here?
Sure. I will say that the technology with obviously there were no cryo chambers in your vision. The chairs look similar, but upon inspecting them, it looks like they are of a newer technology.
Okay.
So there's something here that's different. It's just newer.
Okay.
Is all it is.
And then on the cryo chamber, is there like a porthole to look into?
on it's every single one that you see here has been broken.
Okay, so
So you can peer
open.
into them.
Yeah.
They're all either like one of the covers of one of them is like off kilter, and you can kind of look in. Another one and it's got total glass tops to them. Some of them have been like just totally shattered. One of them looks like something fell on it, but isn't the thing that fell on it isn't there anymore, and it's just crushed inwards, which is kind of weird. Yeah, there's none, at least in this immediate area, that are active or have anything inside of them. They're all empty, meaning there aren't any bodies inside of any of them. No remains, nothing.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we touch those points because you described them. And as a detailed, ordinated person as yourself, I had to double check. And then seeing that Xander's here, I'll be like, real Xander, take a look.
I'm doing the left, right. I'm helping from outside, helping him park.
Yeah.
Get the back end in. He can open the hatch so I could actually yell.
You're good.
Go
You're
up
good.
a little bit.
You're good. You're good.
Pivot.
Meanwhile, the entire time it would be Clovis would be in the inside, backing up,
Yeah.
backing up.
Beep.
Yeah, just going beep, beep.
I don't even know why I'm doing this, but it feels right.
It was a SpongeBob reference. If nobody else got that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay. Well, you're old. That's why.
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
Well, you think I didn't get it? The guy saying "You're good, you're good."
Uh-huh.
The other
Yeah.
SpongeBob reference in the joke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're old. You got it.
Okay. All right. You have successfully backed up.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll get out. Hope that this is hooked on
gonna-
as best as possible.
I'm
I'm gonna put the parking. I'm gonna put the parking brake
put the parking brake. Okay.
on the puddle jump, and by that I mean I'm gonna take out my immovable rod and wedge it inside the puddle jumper, and click it and turn it on so it's held not only upright the correct way so the panels don't get crushed, but also like around some sort of lip so the thing can't slide out from us.
Yeah.
I like that.
Look at you.
I'm trying to decide whether or not the puddle jumper weighs more than 8,000 pounds.
Well, it's not holding the whole weight.
That's true, because it's just.
It would just be whatever amount of weight
You're right. Okay.
pull at it.
So click into place, whatever makes the most amount of sense. And as Xander turns off the puddle jumper, and it just kind of, you just hear the ever so faint creaking of metal as it settles on the one side, but it stays stationary, doesn't move.
All
Okay.
right, let me go see what beats.
Yeah, Xander, everything in here is magic.
Well, how's the
Who could have
Everything.
seen that coming with a giant flying rock?
how do the panels look?
Fortress?
From your limited view, because it just fits in the hallway, right? You can kind of you have maybe 6 inches to look down the entire length of the puddle jumper, the way that it's parked. Make a perception check. And anyone who also wants to investigate this may do so as well.
I'll give her a look.
So it looks mostly intact. Razir, you do notice what looks to be a hairline crack down the center of it from the back to the front. So it looks like it has sustained a bit of damage from the pressure outside of the hull.
Mending.
Only affects 1 square foot.
Mending.
Only affects 1 square foot
Yeah.
At a time.
1 square foot at a
at
time.
a time. Okay. Are you less than 6 inches in depth as a person?
I could cast
Almost.
reduce. I could cast reduce on myself.
Could do
That's
that.
half. I'm a crew fit tall, so 1.5 feet, so 18 inches.
But it's good to
If
know
you
we
just
can
turn
repair it
sideways,
later.
you could do it. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
get that later.
Xander, or wow, Jason, are you keeping track of the puddle jumper's hit points?
I can also do that. Yes, we haven't gotten to a point where we needed to, but
Actually,
I can.
it wasn't the puddle jumper's hit points. It was the
Panel specifically
it
had
was the
its own, right?
panels specifically.
I don't have those.
All right, we're
I think
we're
you
not
had
gonna
said you were gonna.
me. Oh, I did say I was gonna do
Yeah.
it, didn't I?
Something like that.
Blah blah blah. Okay, so we're not going to handle this right now. I will remind myself by watching this later. Totally, will remember to handle this later. We'll get back to the fun stuff and not the
Or
the-
don't,
the-
and the
not.
puddle jumper's at full HP. It's good.
Yep, perfectly fine.
Okay. So no need to necessarily worry about repairing it right this second. We'll get on with the rest of whatever this is. So
As
Xander,
Xander comes out, look at my hand.
doesn't look that much different to Xander, probably. Not looking at his hands all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
buddy.
what, do you know how to fix it?
There's something wrong with it?
I swear. It's like I'm not even the main character anymore. Don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then I'll take a coin out of my coin purse. And I'm gonna try to just like run it along my fingers, make sure I have full faculty still. Is there anything wrong with the hand right now?
Full faculties. It works great.
All right, never. It's fine. My hand still works great, and I
Ooh.
look at B2.
Ooh, well, maybe a little bit of arthritis coming on.
Oh,
No.
oh,
And that's Alex, not Blackstar.
oh! Everybody's got jokes tonight.
What? Never.
Tim's older. No, wait.
No, you're older than
I'm
Tim.
the oldest.
You
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
Biscuits. All
you
right.
get that privilege.
Yeah, man, it's great. It's good. It's great. All right, Black Star's satisfied though. Never mind. All right, come look at the things. There's magic. Dispel
Okay.
some stuff. I want to steal things now. I feel.
Yeah, the doors are secured, and I'll catch him up on the little bit we've discovered of the doors.
Should
All right.
I try to open the next door?
No, I don't know what it would do to you, B2.
I mean, it's possible that you have some kind of signature that actually allows you to, if this is where you think you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yes. I think there's no harm in trying.
I mean, there's plenty of harm.
But you're okay.
All right.
It might give us an answer if I try. Or more questions.
Anybody got a pole or something? Just open it from afar without.
Well, didn't the
Actually,
mage
I
hand work?
we have mage hand.
Yeah. Either way, we got options, but yeah, you can try it if you need to. So
And
you're leading the way here, big man. Where we headed? What are we looking for?
Well,
Or are we just investigating?
I don't know just yet. I think we are investigating. Did you find anything useful in the room you opened?
I didn't quite take a look. I was helping him land. Let's. It was half open. Was there anything else in that room? Because we had cut off to go
Yeah.
park.
It looks to you like there's probably a lot to go through here, not just in this room specifically, but because of how many doors and hallways there are. This particular room doesn't hold anything of particular interest, other than maybe relics of the past or maybe relics of the future, but it's no specific documents or paperwork. It's possible that there is a place where there's information, and as opposed to, I did not just out of game. I did not design this as a dungeon crawl for this. This is more of a location that you've come to, and there are some cool things to be found, and we can roll for those things, and then we can kind of cut to another really important thing later on in this. This was meant to be a stop on the way to Tael Noro and not an entire derailment of the travel to Tael Noro. So I'm just
I
laying
think you've
that out
forgotten
there.
which group you're talking to.
Right? Black Star exists because a door took too long. Like, this is that group.
Yep. I'm just laying it out there as far as what I planned for this, so that we're all on the same page, or at least you know what page I'm on. Whether you're on that page too is up to you.
Get ready to improv there, buddy.
Yeah. What's
getting
that?
opened.
That one Top Gear mean? Oh no. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can continue on
Go.
here.
Yeah, door by door, I think, until we find something that either piques V2's interest, looks particularly interesting magically.
After
to
every door
buy
opens, though,
magic,
Black
or...
Star will walk in and investigate for valuables to take.
One quick
Yeah,
question.
looking for
I guess
valuables,
I'll
looking for...
also stick with Black
documentation.
Star for that. Is there anything that looks like my backpack? In here?
Ooh.
You mean
Comparing
like
to
of the
that.
same the same
technology.
level of technology?
Yeah, same level of technology. Yeah.
I have to think about that for a second. So now we're getting into some stuff. Let's see.
When do we not do that?
We love stuff.
That's great.
I like stuff. What the heck? I was wondering why there wasn't any music playing, but Fort just logged me out.
No,
And
it
you
doesn't
just noticed that.
it wants you to
yeah,
be
it
there
did.
as much as you want to be there. Felix, did we settle on a time frame for what you are referring to?
I don't believe we did. We talked about it maybe being from like before, but as far as I know, not. I don't know anything apart from that. And
Okay.
my character wouldn't know as well. So
Gotcha. There. This isn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of things that are to be found here that look like they're from the same era. Yeah, that's fair. But that is age related. So here's an important piece of information that I've left out that probably would change how everybody is treating everything that's here, because my brain, I told you tonight's a difficult night for me. So the architecture,
Difficult for us,
the enchantments that are here, the not just the technology, but the way that things were created, all the devices, all the chairs, everything screams Fae. This is not a castle from the. We're not playing Minecraft, so I can't call this the overworld. What's it called? The material plane, right? So it's the.
my brain also with Overworld.
Overworld. Yeah. This is distinctly, this whole thing is from the Feywild. Yeah, and it's interesting because it is both. It feels both ancient and also futuristic. Things that like Xander would be fascinated by everything that he's seeing here, because it's like, this feels like it's an ancient castle that we're inside of, but also what the heck is all this? Like there's cryo chambers in here, right? So like what's going on, right? It's a clashing of those things, but it's very, very distinctly Fey.
Kind of like Dracula's castle from Castlevania, right?
I never played Castlevania,
Stumped him.
so I don't.
You
It's,
stumped him,
outside-
Felix.
Big castle, but inside it's like
Dum-dum.
kind of steampunk.
sure, less steampunk and more Star
Yeah,
Trek.
well, yeah.
So it's
that
almost
much.
as if this castle was in like mid teleportation and got cut off.
That is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I love figuring things out.
Mm-hmm. And
Nice.
I wouldn't just give it to you like that, but the fact that you hit the nail on the head, I'm just gonna give that to you. Yes. That's exactly.
Okay, but I said that as B2.
Okay. All right, yeah.
As we like look at these like perfectly
making that
shaved-
connection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it was, and so because you said that, now that's out in the open. It was not only was it mid teleportation, but it was for some reason maybe it was teleporting somewhere and it missed the mark and it was shredded, and then parts of it, this particular part, ended up in the sky above the material plane and also got stuck.
A host of bad things all
Yes.
lined up perfectly for this to be here.
For that to be in this exact spot at this exact moment. Yes. Or
Did
well,
it
here.
did it line up or was that planned?
It was
Put on
planned.
my
It was a
Sherlock
bad plan.
Holmes hat and get my pipe.
Put on my tinfoil hat and
Alrighty, that's
Um,
natural for B2.
So
this is tin up here.
So what I'll say is, through in investigating the remainder of all of this here, like there's not hours and hours and hours and hours of like searching here. It's only so big, right? Because it's a sliver of the castle. So what you do find are a combination of a section of like what would have been an engine room of some kind. So this was a flying keep. You find out from a label that it was called the Etheric Bastion.
Like with
and-
an A at the beginning? Or?
Yes. I have it spelled here somewhere.
AE or just
Aetheric. So it has Eric in the. That's fine. I just realized that. I didn't realize
Can
it
I
when
get
when I was
the
typing
name
it.
one more time?
Etheric.
Just give us all your notes. It's fine.
yeah. You want to just copy
It's
paste those?
the Etheric
Is that a Word
Bastion.
document?
Nope, it's a OneNote document. And there were many of these. They were actually I'll say so there's this engine room which can be looked at. There's some information that can be gleaned here with an investigation roll. There is a like a pseudo commander's quarters of this keep, half of which is still intact, that has some documents in there that are not in paper form. We can get to that in a second once we get there. That can be investigated. And then there is the third and final thing, which is there is one cryo chamber that is on and occupied. So I will let you choose in which order you would like to invest. Just a little fun way of going about this keep thing. Which one would you like to do first?
Well, first I have a question. If on the second doors, what happens if I'm the one who turns it?
Every door opens to B2.
Okay. All right. So, obviously the cryo chamber is kind of cool, but I want to save that one last. I think would be fun.
Yeah.
Just because it potentially has the most
Before we-
conversation.
Before we mess with anything,
Yeah.
want to get all the other pieces of fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So it was what engine room, the cryo chamber. What was the other
The
thing?
commander's quarters.
Commander's quarters. Right.
I say
I'm
engine.
not leading. Following B2.
All right. Well, I
Yeah,
guess.
follow him.
Okay.
B2.
B2, do you know what you're looking for?
Not at all.
Well,
Oh, same as us.
hold on. Is there anything strange in the court? Does it look like any traps, anything left? Or is B2 kind of just disarming everything as he walks through?
You know what? Go ahead, Black Star, make an investigation check for me.
Man, I was in the middle of typing notes.
Were you?
I was updating my information on Clovis.
Oh.
Thanks. Yeah, I do take notes, Tim. Wait, what am I supposed to roll?
Investigation.
Oh, that's God,
intimidation.
biscuits. Sorry. It's one.
That was-
It's one less than that, but it ended up being higher because I rolled better.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. 22. There are. It's not that there are traps. There are security
Like measures.
things. Yeah, security measures. Again, words tonight. Put in place everywhere. It's in the hallways. It's in whatever ceilings are still remaining here. Every single door, every single chair, everything has some kind of security measure that is like biometrically sealed to the people that should or should not be here. And you're going to find out pretty quickly doing these investigations why that's the case.
Is he disarming them as he like nears them?
Everything that he's near just accepts him. There's no issues, and you're able to follow suit. And it seems like it's on like a timed delay, like say like I don't know,
Before it rearms.
a few minutes before everything kind of reverts back. So, but like if this place was full of B2s, nobody
Right, it
would
would
care.
be
They'd just
fine.
be walking around doing stuff or whatever. But if somebody came to do something, you know, there would be a means of infiltration if they were following behind one of these Warforged. They'd have like a minute to do things before everything rearms. But yeah, it's a pretty Loctite, dangerous place, and it's kind of amazing that everything still functions. But you're about to go into the engine room, so
Turn it off.
Everyone
Maybe.
stay close to B2. There's strange things afoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
There's
What?
there's something strange with his foot.
With his foot.
You don't have
Novus.
a lot of expressions. Is that like a thing from where you? Is that an Alderbahn thing where you guys don't you talk very literally, or is that
Very
just a you
literal.
thing?
I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
It's like talking to a wall that's not particularly well educated.
We'll have to find out if we ever go there. All right. B2,
Yeah,
what'd you
well,
find?
Based on him, I don't want to go there.
All right. I would like. I'll describe the room momentarily, but go ahead and have B2 give me an investigation check, please.
Alrighty.
Definitely helping him
Oh, wow, an 18 with a plus
with
0.
whatever he's looking at all the time.
Is
Perception
B2
plus, right?
wanting or accepting help from others in his
Oh yeah,
investigation?
yeah. I
Okay.
think even though there's this like stress in wanting to be here, he recognizes that Razier, Xander, everybody has experiences and potential insight. So he's pretty trusting of everybody. So
All right. I'm going to do a music shift here, not because anything crazy is happening, but because...
While
the-
B2's walking around
Crazy's gonna
searching, I would also like to try to take a gold from him again.
when he's his most distracted he's ever been.
Yes.
Trying to delve into cool things, Alex, and you're trying to steal.
All right, fine. I won't steal anything,
That's
Tim.
fine.
I don't want
That's
to mess
fine.
up your feng shui.
You're fine. All right.
No.
No, you already said you were doing it. That's it. I'm calling it. You did it already.
If I don't roll, I don't do it. It's
Well,
fine. All right, what cool things are we doing?
No,
Moving on.
roll for sleight of hand. B2, roll a perception check.
all right.
I'm not rolling.
I'll roll for you. I can roll from your sheet.
All right, go ahead if you want.
Can you beat a 23? I promise you, Alex, that I
Did he
can be
beat
more
a
spiteful than you
23?
could ever hope to be.
I'm not concerned about it.
I'm sorry, but did Tim just ask, can you beat a 23?
Yeah.
He's got like a plus 12.
It's plus
23 is like
17.
Plus
the- yeah, I was gonna say it's way higher than 12. 23 is like the range. Oh no, his self-confidence.
He didn't roll
What
that.
happened?
He didn't roll that. I rolled it.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
Wait, can you guys see that roll?
In the chat log.
In D&D
Oh.
Beyond.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Not in roll 20.
So I rolled for you when I rolled the natural one.
Nice. All right, that works.
I'm not. We're that's yeah. I'm not, I would never actually roll for the player because that's totally goes beyond taking away player agency.
But where'd
That
all
was
the
more of a
spite
joke.
go?
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Well, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna get killed? I've died already. It's fine. I've done twice.
Wow. I thought it was just Black Star.
So
that was acting
engine
like
room.
a little girl tonight.
I
okay.
see.
Yeah, I thought so too,
car
but-
engine.
Apparently, it's more than him.
Oh my god.
Oh man. All right. Let me see what this sounds like. I might not use that.
Oh, I thought you were going to start seeing it when you hummed. I was like,
All right, he's got something planned.
And what did you roll? You actually rolled an 18. Okay. So it isn't so much what the room looks like. It is gaining an understanding by looking at what's here, how this place functions, and why it's here. And you are able to understand on an 18 that this is essentially a battle cruiser in the shape of a keep, because that is how things in some reality or another were fashioned by those of the Fey courts. And whatever engineers pieced this together, there are things about it that lead you to believe that they took inspiration from your body to create everything about this place. And that is, I don't know, maybe B2 feels that that's terrifying. Maybe it's gratifying, if that's the word. It was designed to travel not just through space, but also through time. The Fae, at a certain point, were able to create technology that allowed them to send armies through time. And that is what this engine is designed to do. And there is probably more of an explanation as to why it exists. You did you re-roll with the help action? You rolled perception the second time.
yeah,
Or you're just going to re-roll?
The perception was for Black Star.
Oh, gotcha.
All right,
wanna
call me the
re-roll?
new Black Star.
18 twice.
Nice.
And no additional imagery comes to you, but memories standing in this room do come back to you. You were a member of the army, not of this bastion, but of the Fey Court. The Fey Court called Glimmerdeep. Darrow gains these memories as well, but they're B2s. They're not Darrow's. Darrow was not there to observe anything that B2 did during this time. B2 was part of an army. He was sent out to stop something. Can't quite put your finger on it. And you were on a vessel similar to this. And something happened. And you were not able to succeed in that. I'm trying not to give too much.
Yeah. You said the Fey Court was the Fey Court Glimmerdeep?
Glimmerdeep is the name of the Fey Court.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't really like this one either. Yeah, this one's better.
In the engine room, do I see maybe a symbol of what this bastion belonged to? Of what Fey Court? Or like any identification to whose Fey Court this bastion?
Not in the engine room. No.
Okay. I remember being. I know that others had already talked about it, about that I am potentially from the Fey Court. Now I know that I was from the Fey Court. I served in the court of Glimmerdeep. I was a soldier. I was sent here, sent back in time to stop something, to fight something. These engines were you. They could travel planes. They could travel time. And I'll turn to Xander, the Chrono Wizard. um, have you heard of anything like this? Is this what you hope to achieve?
I mean, no, not. I mean, it's. I think it's becoming something that's kind of part of my skill set, but it wasn't really initially what I set out to achieve, and I didn't really know that it was something that was widely achievable. And I can only do it to myself. I didn't know that there were. I mean, I guess you could assume that there are magics to send other people back in time. I guess, but I never really thought about it that way.
Does anybody here know if this thing's working? And as I say that, I kind of look around the room to see if I see Veriloth.
He hasn't shown up in a while. Are you wanting to see Veriloth? You're just
I'm
saying if he's hanging around?
If he's here. Yeah. Taking a look at what's going on here.
Yeah, I guess it would make sense. He wouldn't be interjecting. He would, yeah, I would say he would be like leaning up against the wall, just kind of arms crossed, looking at what you guys are looking at and just with interest, but not saying anything.
I'm not interacting with him. I just wanted to look to see if he's watching, and I posed that question. Does anybody know if this thing's working?
I don't know. I don't fully recall how it worked, or if I even knew how it worked. I'm sure it's been broken because of its it was teleporting and stuck. So I have to wonder if the other parts of it are stuck in time instead of just different realms, and that is why this place is not covered in dust and everything, is that time isn't passing here, because it's everything that gets stuck up here is frozen in time. Perhaps maybe that this engine is what's causing things to get stuck up here.
Maybe the pressure when we're coming in was like the air that doesn't want to move, crushing us as we come through.
By creating the wall of force, you maybe separated us from the two. Like, I don't understand.
Veriloth looks over at Xander.
Okay, let's do.
This is right up your alley. This is right up our alley.
And
Oh, nope, no time for the chainless yet. I don't know why it automatically cycled to that song. That's funny.
I also like that when Verloc talked, Jason's screen went kind of dark, so like half his face went dark.
Did. It was perfect.
Kind of Anakin-ish.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is temporal. The skies have been temporally frozen for as long as I can remember. Seems like this might be the reason why. Those Fae had some kind of problem. They were trying to solve it from the future. That's not my business. That's not our business. That's not what we're here to do. B2 has his own things he wants to learn about. That's good for him. But at least this answers that one question. That's all. I'll go back to skulking in the shadows over here.
So Black Star talks to a sword, you two talk to walls, and Garen talks to rocks.
And I talk to myself.
I mean, technically, they
Yeah,
didn't
and
talk
that,
to,
yeah.
They didn't talk to Barreloth, I don't think. But
Or they didn't.
yeah, there's no God Shard here. Nobody can see him except for Xander and Razier.
Yeah. And we can
Yeah,
talk
we
to him in
know
our head if we want to.
Yep.
No, true, yeah.
Is there? I don't know what more there's to glean from here. Xander, do you have anything you want to gather from this?
I mean, yes, but there's so much that's also currently beyond my understanding. I would like to, I guess. We've been in the engine room this whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go to the captain's chambers. Feel like that's the next best spot to find information, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps there might be something.
Before we leave, I want to look and just give a look over if there's like some sort of control panel in here, or if this would be controlled from somewhere else.
Yeah. This is you've analyzed the control panel that's in here to decipher its function, and there are things, without getting into a lot of specifics, that probably Xander, being a chronomancer, would have been like, oh, this is not just a flying castle. This is meant to travel through time, right?
Right.
There's things about it, whether it's an orb or some kind of device that's connected to the control center here, but it is controlled from here. You do decipher through looking at this, it could be turned off from here. You also
okay.
decipher that if it's turned off, it probably will stay stuck in the sky. But if anything changes the broken temporal waves that Veriloth was just talking about, this whole thing would plummet to the ground. I'll just give you this one other thing. It feels like there's something else here somewhere that is holding this in the sky. The engines, as they are, were like part. This is just a sliver, right? And so there's part of it is the part of like the section of the engine room, and because it's frozen in time, in it whatever state it was in, that's what it got locked into. But if it was turned off, everything about it shuts down. But there's something else that's here that is keeping it in this temporal space. I know that's super confusing, and I did a terrible job of explaining that, but you could turn it off and it wouldn't plummet. Somewhere else, something might cause it to. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So did I answer Razier's question? Yeah. Okay. So you guys all head to the commander's quarters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's potentially documents maybe saying what their mission was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Okay. B2, you go to the door, you find out where it is throughout the hallways that are here. It opens up, and there's a desk. It's not a wooden desk, it's a metal desk. And there seems to be like a slightly angled, raised section, like on a 45-degree angle towards where the chair is that's there. There's no papers anywhere. There's no books anywhere. It is just this, like, panel that's darkened. There is a little section on the right-hand side where a hand could fit into, like a depressed section of the table.
B2 puts his hand.
Okay. Everybody in this room?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. B2's eyes go blank, and on the screen, an image pops up. B2, you are seeing this first person. Everybody else is watching it on the screen. Are you muted, or were you just trying to say something? Or you
No,
were
I was just
mouthing?
I whispered. I guess my mic didn't pick up.
Oh.
I said it's Sword Art Online.
You are in a different. You like your eyes snap open, and you're in a different part of some massive keep, like this one, an etheric bastion, and you're looking out. You're talking to your commander from this Glimmer Deep Fey Court, and he's giving you instructions, and it's like you look outside of this window, and it is a darkened, like blackened landscape. Everything has been absolutely annihilated. There's nothing left, and all around there are a number of these bastions that are floating in the sky, and you're it's like the words from the commander are kind of muffled a bit, but you know that you're being given instructions on what you, B2, specifically have to do. You were created for this purpose. You are the original. You are the one that everything was fashioned from, and you are the last hope of success for the Fae to fight the Titans. And you see these other bastions like teleporting away, like and the commander like straps himself in, and you realize that there's like a seatbelt on the seat that you're sitting in right now, but you're not in the dropship. You're in something else. Like this is a different portion of the keep, and maybe a different time, maybe a different reality altogether. You're not sure. You clip in your seatbelt, and you feel this incredible force as the entire bastion is ripped out of its space and thrust somewhere else. And you look outside, and it's a beautiful landscape with mountains and rolling clouds and hills, and there's puffy rain clouds off in the distance. And as you see a couple of these other bastions kind of zip into space, like thousands and thousands of feet away from you, all throughout the area here, you see a massive hammer, the head of which is the size of one of these bastions, immediately comes down, and you see a massive detonation thousands and thousands of feet, maybe even miles off, as you can see all of these, and there is a Titan. And immediately all these drop ships open up, and soldiers are deposited and begin flying like swarms of bees towards this Titan. And you see armies on the ground. But the thing that you notice is that you're not on the material plane. This is all in the Fey realm. And you come back out, and you're sitting at the chair in the commander's office.
And that played on the screen too.
It
for
sure
them?
did, from your perspective.
B2 just turns to everyone.
Does this mean that there have been Titans in other realms?
It has to be, right?
I mean, that's what it seemed like. I mean, that was confusing. I mean, I'm for a good adventure, but that was like, it was like reading a storybook, but real. So like some sort of historical nonfiction.
Moving
Historical
pictures.
nonfiction.
Historical nonfiction moving pictures. I've seen a play once where it was reenacting the Titans, but this was in a different realm completely. Did they come from the Fey realm and migrate here somehow, or are they separate ones?
That wasn't any of the Titans we know of.
We know, like, are there? Oh,
Of the four we know, that was not one of them.
well, then that's more
None
concerning.
of the stories ever talked about no hammer. They were all beasts, monsters, nothing using a tool or a weapon.
Well, this just poses more questions than it Well, I suppose we didn't come here for answers, except for B2. B2, do you feel like you found anything out here?
No.
Oh,
Well, we've got something tangible.
what is that, Xander?
I mean, we know that B2 was some sort of soldier for the fake court confirmed now. We know the name of said court.
Oh,
We know that B2 was the blueprint for basically every other soldier of his kind.
that's a fair point. We did get some answers. Secondary question related to possible answers. All those other things that were teleporting away, are they somewhere here as well, or could they be in separate realms also? Did everything come here into the prime material realm, or are those the ruins? Ooh, what if the ruins somehow got trapped into the grounds and stuff?
I mean, Xander, correct me if I'm wrong, but if this place can travel through time and these bastions could do that, we have no way of knowing what happened first. If maybe the Titans that were in the Feywild eventually bled over to our world, or if what happens to the Feywild is in the future after, I don't know.
I mean,
This
at
place
this
is
point,
destroyed. There's no
at
way
this
to
point,
know.
it becomes all nonsensical. Like
So what came
with
first?
with the chicken or the egg. Oh, I don't know.
Wait, there are chickens?
Another conversation.
I use mind illusion, create an illusion of chickens running around.
That's terrifying. Were there chickens in the Fey realm? B2, do you remember at all? How much do you
No.
remember now?
Well, I guess I know that where I'm from and what Xander pointed out, but I don't know what my commander was saying to me. Like, besides that, for some reason, I'm important, but I don't know why. That leaves the question why. It also leaves the question of when. When was
yeah.
this?
Because were you like this when you came here, or did they turn you into this?
I was just gonna say maybe you're important because of the I think it's Darrow, the other guy in your head.
Well, I think he's a real person. They're like sharing souls, not heads.
But he does
but-
bring a good point in the sense that what does Darrow have to play in all this?
What? I mean, that's a good question. Was Darrow involved in this at all? Do you remember?
From what I understand and from what Darrow understands, he's from the past. But is the past the future?
Oh no, we can't do this.
Is this the Twilight Zone? uh, was the hammer?
Cyclical.
Was the hammer? You said it was pretty big, but was it like a war hammer or like a small, like a single hammer?
Like a dwarven hammer. So
So could that Titan? Aren't smaller hammers used to create things? Could that hammer create Titans?
Oh, that'd be terrifying.
I think we might be getting a little too deep. We're gonna just get ourselves entrenched in questions. And
A little too deep. We're in the ocean, baby.
I would like to search the room for any written records that are still lying around.
Blackstar will just begin playing a sorrowful tune, sorrowful, and I'll give bardic inspiration to anybody who requires it.
gotcha. In a drawer off to the side, there are no papers, but you do see a little flat metallic object that looks like it has a darkened screen, similar to the one that you watched this whole thing on. And touching it, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
That bardic inspiration.
You know what? We'll use this.
Oh no!
I totally took away your player agency there. You see this in the drawer. I'm assuming you probably would have chosen to pick it up. However,
Yeah.
also having the knowledge of what you've seen previously, maybe you wouldn't have.
No, I mean I would have. I would have. And in said scenario, I will be chronal shifting.
Okay.
Does that work here? Can you
Does
do
it?
time magic in a
does.
time paused
But
realm?
seven-
Yeah, well,
seven
that's
doesn't do
better
it
than
for
a
you.
natural one.
Seven
What's
doesn't
the
do it for
bardic
you.
inspiration?
D8.
D8. Maybe it'll make a
You're stuck on
difference
the
if I roll an
save.
8. 12 total.
12 total is still not enough, unfortunately.
Biscuits.
This is psychic damage, and it's 18 points of psychic damage. On this.
Why is your
And-
nose bleeding all of a sudden?
You're the hand that touches it. Yeah, it withers slightly. You gain about a year on that. Go and roll a d4 for how many hours this lasts.
1.
Yeah. So for the next hour, Xander's hand is withered and a year older than his 19-year-old body. Probably no change at all.
Looks like
It's-
it starts to maybe he should think about moisturizer.
An extra hair grows out of the back of your hand.
Yeah.
A freckle or two.
Yeah.
I'll touch it for him.
Okay.
Or hand it to, like, pick it up and hold it. So he
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and so this has documents on it. It's a digital, or it's a magical way
It's an
of
iPad.
storing information, and you can
Magical iPad.
access the information that's on it. You have seen something like this before. One of the helpers to what's his name, Ranvarez. Is what his name, Adamar? I don't remember. The Captain Ranvarez, the captain of the Outcast, right? One of his back in Solium 468, she had some technology on her. She had a little digital pad thing that she was using,
Okay.
and a little pen, if you recall. It was like a stylus that she had. So
It was
this
the
is very
smarter
similar. This is
all
very
the
similar to
outcasts.
that. So they've found technologies like this elsewhere, apparently.
There's a depiction of an apple with a bite in it.
Exactly.
Somewhere on there.
It's actually an orange and it's peeled.
So going through all the information that's here, the Feywild was considered to be completely lost, entirely lost. Like the entire face of the plane was wiped from existence, and there were underground like a coalition of whatever remained of society at the time, to have all of their resources poured into creating an army. And that was its sole purpose of the entire society, was to give of themselves to save the past, because it was wiped out by Titans, plural.
Okay.
Dates in the Fey realm are different than dates in the Prime Material Plane. So you couldn't necessarily correlate that. There's not a whole lot of information that Xander knows about the Fey realm because it's been closed off, and all this information's been lost to history, right? For the most part, after the apocalypses on the Prime Material Plane, a lot of information was just eradicated. Like books were just lost. Like in Ilis Narian and other locations within the Sagacious Circuit, they might have information more about this. Xander has limited knowledge, is what I'm trying to say, of this. So can't quite correlate dates. But this did happen at some point, and so they spent years living underneath the fallout of these apocalypses, creating this army, copying, manufacturing these Warforged and also these castles that rose out of the ground, by the way. And then they had basically not mastered temporal magic, because nobody's apparently mastered that. It's definitely it's not an exact science, and there were problems. But the whole purpose of this was create an entire army to go back in time to when the Titans first arrived, to fight them off, to save the Fey realm. And that it was successful, or at least in one version of reality, it was successful because of a Gnosis and the portal that was created to the Feywild that you saw.
Right.
A beautiful landscape.
Right.
And so, you do find a list of people like or like designations of soldiers going through. They're all Warforged. Every single one of them is all Warforged. There are no humans. There's no elves. There's no living. Not that I'm saying that Warforged aren't people, but it's more of like they're more robots. That's kind of how this is being treated. There was no one left to go fight. They were all devoted their entire lives to creating this army to go back and fight the Titans. Similar, I might add, to what the Chainless are trying to do, because they spared nothing. Everything in life was devoted to saving their future by saving the past.
Skynet. This is the Chainless's future right here. Or
So they hope.
the Chainless came from this. They sent something back to create the Chainless to stop the Titans. And oh man, I don't like this. It's gonna make my brain hurt later.
Later. My brain
Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it too much right now.
I was gonna say not thinking about it now, but later when you have to think about
When
it.
I'm laying in bed and I want to go to sleep, who are the Chainless? Where did it start?
Under the everywhere that B2's name is listed, because it's listed in several different locations about assignments and things that like he wasn't created. He was found.
Okay, so we thought we had the answer of where B2 came from, and now it turns out we didn't at all have the answer to where B2 came from, but also more questions.
Is this shared amongst all of us?
Hey Chris, remember last night when we were talking
Yeah.
about how bad this was going to be?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna open this puppy wide up, and you're gonna have more questions than you ever thought you could possibly have about your backstory when we're done. But I promise I have all the answers. I'm not actually making this stuff up. So, anyways.
This is being shared. B2's sharing it, or Xander's sharing it. I'm sure.
Right. I mean, it's readable. It's all documents, right? Everywhere where B2's name is listed, it says B2 -T8, and then in parentheses it says paradox.
Isn't it a language that everyone it's like common?
It's in Sylvan. Which I probably should have confirmed that somebody here speaks Sylvan, but I'm pretty sure Xander can
I
speak
have
all
Eyes of the
languages.
Runekeeper. I can read anything.
Right.
And B2 does speak Sylvan. So.
Yep.
Of course he does.
He's referenced as the paradox by all writings on this tablet by the commander.
And all the other Warforged creatures looked like him. Is that correct?
They were
They're
all
based off of him.
Yeah, all of them were based off of him.
It was the situation of he existed so they could copy Warforged, so that he could be sent to the past, so that he could survive to the future, so that they could find him, so that they could make Warforged to send him to the past, so that he could survive to the future till they could find him, and then send him to make up. Okay.
That's what I was thinking about.
This is a time loop situation.
One of the ones they sent back, Darrow was put into, and then they found
out.
it. Oh man.
This all leads in time loop situations. You just got to figure out what the original loop started from, and that's where your answers come from.
Tim, I have a quick question.
Everybody's got questions.
I have a quick question. So in doing this, I have pulled up my supplementary documents, of course. The supplementary document for the beginning of Raiders of Novus states that the artifact, which was recorded and labeled only as the Anchor, the writings and texts regarding the artifact, once deciphered, led to panic and confusion amongst the rulers of the world. Those writings and texts are not publicly known / available. Is there any folklore surrounding those?
Not really. No. This was a very serious thing that, when spoken about, what it led to the apocalypses.
Okay.
That there's no folklore about that.
Okay.
That is what happened in everybody's mind.
Well, I mean, like, is there any like hearsay about like, oh, I heard that the writing said this, or oh, like
Oh.
I heard that they said this. Not doubting the legitimacy of like this item.
Not doubting the legitimacy of this item. What do you mean? But
Well,
like
I'm asking for the former. I wasn't saying like any folklore like actually about the item. More like hearsay about the writings and texts regarding the artifact. Like anything that's been passed down after the years of, Titan attacks and et cetera, et cetera.
because it was only like 100 years ago. I mean, which I know is a while ago, but not that long ago. Everybody over the age of 18 was essentially deleted off the face of the planet, right? And so you have a
Right.
bunch of basically children that are growing up in this world of our parents were stupid and our grandparents were stupid and everybody in the old world was stupid and they were greedy, and let's follow in their footsteps and also be greedy and try and take over the world. While not really caring about like what they did because they can't get to it. They couldn't go to Anchor's Folly. There's the only philosophers, especially ones that Xander would have been around. This would have been a good question to ask Salagastra, actually. But no, I'll just, because I'm just rambling now. I'll just say not really.
Okay. I was just trying to see if these two events were possibly connected in any way, shape, or form, but if I don't have any inkling,
You could
then...
just ask that question. Do I get the sense that these two events are connected in any way?
Okay. Do I get the sense that they're connected in any way?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say no. The only connections you get are the Fey Realm had Titans, Prime Material Plane had Titans. That's a connection. Whether or not they happen at the same time, who knows?
Right.
Seems maybe likely. Maybe the reason for them appearing is the same. Maybe the Fey Realm just got different Titans than the Prime Material did. Who knows? Like, because you guys don't know where they came from or why they were around, right?
Right.
But the Fey Realm experience, because time passes or happens differently in the Fey Realm than it does in the Prime Material Plane. So maybe they've already experienced an entire world annihilation, which could be in the Prime Material Plane's future. This could be not a prophecy, but something that's already happened. And this is one of the only recordings left behind of what actually happened, and this could happen here. It doesn't solve any problems of wanting to know anything about B2, but that's probably what Xander would posit about this.
Right.
This could be our future.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I'll shut up now. It's fine. I will let you guys all think about your questions that we have, because we can sit here and we can talk more about this, because there's it's a lot going on here. I completely lost track of time, and so we are going to go ahead and take our break there. So, in the room that you're in now, the commander's room, you have discovered some pretty important information, perhaps about the past or otherwise. Maybe the future. You're not sure. But you have gained this information, and you do have one more location in this etheric bastion to go and investigate. Is there anything more that you wish to discuss here now in this room? Or, I mean, you guys have all just been hit with this bomb of information. Or move on to the next location.
I don't even know.
I think we drag our feet to the next location.
Unless
Dragging
there's
our
anything
feet
to
because we're
glean.
like,
Yeah. Unless there's something else to glean from that data pad. Yeah. We
say
got
we take
more
it.
questions.
I say we take the data pad.
Hmm.
Never know where it will come into play somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or if there's more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're taking it. We're taking it.
Connected to Bluetooth in the puddle jumper and have some music. You know, when Black Star's whimpering.
Tunes.
Spotify.
So on
rap.
that note, this technology is different than the puddle jumper, in like just created. It's like Android versus Apple, right? It feels like it's of the same era, but just crafted by different hands. Yeah. Okay. So you drag your feet through the halls, apparently. Now, let me just kind of break that down real quick. The dragging of the feet is just your like, because you're trying to process all this information, right?
Oh, yeah. It's,
Okay,
It's,
gotcha.
it's
Bewildered,
Oh,
so we're
we gotta
walking
check
a
the
little
cryo
slow.
chamber.
and-
Yeah, that's where
true,
we're going.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
Yeah, it's 100% us being like,
all right. Well, it's not going to get any better in the coming
No,
hour.
I figured the crowd
so-
chamber was a good save for third, so here we go.
Okay. So, out in the halls, you do come across one singular stasis pod that is active, and the glass on the top of it is frosted, so you can't see what's on the inside. You just trying to look through this obscured glass can make out that there's a humanoid figure on the inside. It does, from what light is getting in here, does look to be metallic. And across from this, as you're kind of walking down the hallway, and you noticed it, like, all right, well, that's one point of interest. We're going to come back to that, which kind of seems kind of silly in hindsight, but this is what it is. Across from this, there is a giant, gaping hole in, like as though this part of the keep had sustained a little bit of damage, and there's a hole in the floor that just looks down towards the ground. And hovering above that hole, kind of off to the side a little bit, there is an orb that is just hovering in midair, static, or like electricity kind of coming off of it. And it looks exactly like the orb that you saw in your memory / vision. It's just hanging out there. It is...
One quick thing, I know my character would do. Is it like the orb that blasted in a room in the Requiem? It was a small room on the left.
The one that kept
of
sending out the
middle
pulses.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this is something entirely different.
There, all right.
Yep. I will just say, everything that you've seen, everything that you've read, you don't know anything about this orb other than what you saw and what Xander saw in your vision. It's temporal in nature. That's all you know. And could be the catalyst that is keeping this thing where it is, and could be causing the fluctuations in the sky around it.
They ran into this thing.
Could be. Or it could have been created somehow. You're not entirely certain. But this isn't the room that you were in your vision.
Yeah.
It's almost like, again, different versions of yourself saw different things. And Xander, actually, this makes you look back and kind of question, and I'm sorry, Jason, I know you're having you're
That's
a
okay.
little tired. All right, so looking back at pretty much every vision you've had thus far, going back to seeing in the Rising Requiem the pile of dust on the floor, which was Zanladir during that vision, on the bridge where the giant spider attacked you guys in the Rising Requiem, that never happened. But that was your vision. Looking at the Inanaria's Watch, where the entire party stormed the Godshard room, Razir shouting out to destroy the canisters. You guys did storm the room, but that's not exactly how it happened. So you start to put the pieces together from seeing what B2 has seen now, that it's very possible and likely that your visions are possible futures. So this is, so you're in a hallway, very tall, obsidian walls, orb, cryo chamber. There is a little, like a data pad kind of situation on a little pedestal. It's kind of attached to the cryo chamber. What do you guys do?
Panic.
I just saw your danger multiverse.
Yeah.
And one last thing. By the way, did Louise mention what he saw in regards to Gale and what had happened?
I believe I did, and didn't Xander see it as well?
Yeah, well, you were like, something was altered, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, that was me. That
Yeah.
was,
Yeah, it was just a conversation between those two, I believe.
yeah.
But if you recall, Louise remembered Gale dying
Remembered both.
and also remembered Gale living.
Yeah, and I believe we both remembered going to a funeral, but we weren't sure whose it was. But like around the time he would have died or not died, because he's what was it, the cat in the box?
So all of these
Schrodinger's cat.
details,
Schrodinger's, yeah.
all of these
Schrodinger's cat.
details, do lead Xander, if nobody else, to believe that it's possible that there are multiple realities. There could be many different versions of each of you in all these possible realities. It's a pretty easy conclusion to come to. Does B2 go over and activate or deactivate the cryo chamber? Or is there anything else you want to investigate in this space?
No, I think B2 walks over to the cryo chamber and pauses for a moment because he knows what's on the other side. He knows what's in, like, to some extent knows, but he also really doesn't want it to be true. Or does he? Like, he's very conflicted. Like, what does he really want to find when he opens this? And I'll try to find a lever to open it.
Okay. Yeah, it's so there's just kind of like data pad that upon touching kind of activates the whole thing, like glows like a low green and like somewhat purple colorations through it as well. Like a little screen pops up on this little data pad, and it just says there's like awaken or cancel as a button to touch on the pad.
I turn to the group. I think unless anyone has any major disagreements, I think we should awaken it.
Maybe they'll have answers.
As far as I'm concerned, this is up to your comfortability.
I have to know more, and I'll hit awaken.
Okay. As you touch the awaken button, your vision, once again, static electricity runs down your body. Your eyes go blank. Xander notices this. Put your hand on him. Okay. I didn't know if we were asking for consent at a certain point because you know that you're just peeking in on what he's seeing. This, as your eyes open, you're not looking through the eyes of B2. you're looking through the eyes of Darrow. You're standing in a room in a castle high up in some keep somewhere, overlooking a beautiful valley and massive rallying armies that are ready to go on the move. In the room stands with you a white-haired elven woman whose name comes to you in the moment as Darrow realizes who this is. This is Lyriel Moonshadow. And a voice off to the side, as another figure who stands in the room next to you speaks. And you turn and you look, and you recognize the visage of Matthias Terramore. We need him. He's the only one who knows how to get through the secret entrance into the Citadel and stop this whole thing. You feel your lips moving and the words coming out, but only remembering them as you're saying them. What if I die on the way? There's likely thousands of enemy soldiers between here and there. And Lyriel speaks up. That's why I created this failsafe. It's the only one I could get to a reliable working state in time for the coming assault. Vito's research was crucial, and I'm sure the Fae courts will want to get their hands on this technology after the battle if we're successful. But for now, this will be our little secret. We don't want this falling into the wrong hands. You feel yourself respond, how does it work? And Lyriel says, you keep this crystal pendant around your neck from now on. And you look down and she's handing you an orange crystal, a glowing pendant that you would hold around your neck. If you die in battle, you'll be transferred back into this. She motions to the side and you see the body of B2, chest opened, 3 very lightly glowing crystals on the inside, one of which is orange. And you see, clutching to her chest, a white crystal. Matthias speaks up. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. My own notes. You actually respond, I don't want to be a robot for the rest of my life. Matthias pipes up. Well, then don't die. Either way, I agree with Lyriel on this one, Darrow. We need you one way or the other. And Lyriel says, I don't want you to die either, my love. But don't worry. I'll be right here waiting for you if and when the time comes. She comes in for an embrace as you see that her belly somewhat gets in the way of your embrace. And your vision comes back as the cryo chamber opens up. And on the inside, 2 red glowing eyes of a Warforged, not too dissimilar from how you look. A newer model, perhaps, just lays there, dormant for a moment, eyes kind of like blinking, and then eyes kind of like shift over in your direction. You are the one.
Yep.
Like the Warforged sits up inside of the cryo chamber, reaches down and grabs the katana at his side, and just without even saying anything else, like as though it's protocol and he was expecting you this whole time, begins to step out of the cryo chamber. Does anybody do anything, or you allow him to do this?
Step back.
Yeah, definitely
Step
have
back.
everybody step
Hand
back.
on my hip.
I will ready the help action to defend B2 if necessary.
Paradox, you've arrived. I can't say it's a surprise. He looks around, kind of flexing his joints as though it's been a while that he's been laying here. Could be hundreds of years, you have no idea. Affixes the katana to his side. I am Uranus. My designation, if I can find my notes, is F3R9. It is
Berg.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. But this was not your etheric bastion. Can you tell me what happened here? Were we successful? I know Chris is just like so much information all
so, Tim,
at
how
once.
How much do I owe you when you said yesterday you're like, you're not going to predict anything? Because you were right, so... Okay, all right. Darrow speaks up. Thanks for reporting in. Something is off. As far as I am aware, we were successful in some manner of speaking, but the mission is not done. The rest of your bastion is missing. Tell me, what was your mission?
The same mission.
Any special designation, I should say.
The same mission as all of the other bastions. To travel back to when it all started and take down the Titans. That was our sole and only mission. Seems as though somehow I was not awakened when the time was right. But if there isn't anything for me to do here, I expected to come out of cryosleep and be immediately fighting. When my eyes opened and I saw you standing over me, I knew that something had happened. I am of no special designation. I am not a captain or of any rank. I am simply a soldier. But I can see that you look confused. So, if nothing else, perhaps information can be provided to you.
Very good, soldier. And what information can you provide?
I don't know what information you don't know.
When were we sent back?
When? You mean the year?
Yes.
We were sent back in 3269. Of... Hold on. Yes, 3269 AC. After the Titan attacks, the human and others population spent over 300 years planning for the assault of our designation to save the past and therefore the future. You were to be amongst their ranks so as to fulfill your duties of completing the loop.
What is the loop?
Now, you're still speaking as Darrow, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think B2 is too confused, and well, Darrow's probably equally confused. He was
can
a
handle
soldier.
Yep.
He's a soldier and a commander. Like he knows how to.
Right.
Tim, what's the current
Walls up.
year?
Oh, thank God someone asked.
Current year is 2976 AC.
Whoa. It's almost 300 years later.
Uh-huh.
What loop?
Loop.
You were
Yes.
you were found by the engineer that took you and turned you into what you are now. The master engineer responsible for, or hailed as the one responsible for creating all Warforged, Lyriel Moonshadow.
Yes. That
And-
name rings a bell.
Those designated to be on whatever vessel you were on knew their fate as well. As no one knows exactly what or when or how, but something went wrong with your vessel, and instead of being sent back to fight the Titans, you were sent somewhere else. That is all I know.
Answer me this then. Is the loop why I'm called Paradox?
No one can explain where you came from. But Lyriel is hailed as being your creator. Which is a paradox. Because everyone knows she didn't.
Answer me this. Does the name Darrow mean anything to you?
Not at all.
Darrow like picks up Vizier's kind of like, he's like, this, because of the shift in planning, I had to find a new squad, and I'll kind of point to them. If you trust me as your commander, as Paradox, then you will trust these among us.
Well, I trust you. There's no issue there. May I ask, what year is it?
What year did you say it was? Sorry, I was like thinking.
2976.
976. What year did it start at? So if this is a count downward, they were 3269, we're 2976. What did this calendar start at?
Huh? We're
I mean,
We're in the past.
we're AC, so it's counting up. They are
They were
300
the
years ahead.
future.
Yeah, they're the future.
Oh, all right. I thought it
Then
was
back
like
to
I thought it was a BC
before
situation
us?
where yeah, so they're
they're
in-
being sent back before your time.
they were
Yes.
there, they're being sent back. So this is 300 years in our future
that the Warforged were made, and
and sent back.
Presumably
Yeah.
made.
I
well,
was
the
think- I
Warforged
was-
were made. B2 was there to be based off of to make the Warforged,
Right.
but is also being sent back in time so that he could show up and be found, so the Warforged can be based off
And
of him.
Dara was before even us.
At some point in this loop,
You got interrupted.
it started. Well, the first time it happened, Darrow soldier died, became B2. The Warforged was sent
Titans
back in time.
attacked. Something.
Your bastion had a time issue. Maybe not dissimilar to this one, where the whatever ship you were on, which I wonder. No, I'll get to that. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. This is happening. I can't help it.
No, go ahead. Go for it. I love
Your
it.
ship that you were on, whether it was a bastion or otherwise, your ship went to go back with the first loop. Your ship went to go back with all of them to fight. Your ship got lost somehow, temporal accident, ended up somewhere else. You are B2. You then survive all the way to that point, are found, thus causing them to make the Warforged to actually be able to have the army, because the original time it doesn't work, because it's just you don't have the Warforged army. Doesn't work. Titans still show up. B2 survive. B2 or Darrow, whoever in charge, the body survives until that time gets found. A Warforged army is made, sent back. They're successful, but now B2 has to do that loop to be found every time. So that's how the paradox loop happens.
An Area's Watch
But
is a ship.
It was that first time, or Xander used a cloak and went to the astral plane and saw a big ship with a name on the side of it that Matthias used his code name from.
Yes.
We just heard was there with them.
Oh man.
Pluto, the spaceship you found was your original ship. Time traveling, ended up in space.
It's stuck in the astral plane.
And then it begs the
I
question.
need a board with red threads on it.
Charlie Day.
I have one. I have one right over here.
I know you do.
An Area's Watch is definitely a ship.
Maybe, or
No, it has to be. It has to be. The statues, we found statues in An Area's Watch that have people from the future. It had a pod in the back of it. The puddle jumpers found in the back. It's got a big hatch in the back for other puddle jumpers to come in and out of.
Time travel. It could have just been that these people that were on this Pluto ship came to the past and were doing things in the past to set things up so that this time the future can do things differently, making sure that B2 Darrow body makes it to that point in the future.
Maybe that too, but it is a future-based piece of equipment.
So Matthias, Lariel, and whoever else are from that first timeline loop in the future, but came to the past and now are heralded at, and Vito, freaking Vito Zenobia, also from the future, is now a big figure from the past because they came back. That's why Anchor's Folly and the past people had such crazy technology, because it's from the future.
And Darrow has a kid.
What's up, Felix Boo-Boo? What's up, Felix Boo-Boo?
Yeah, just before the meltdown continues, my sister just texted me she needs me to go pick her up. So
Okay.
I don't know if I can keep playing tonight anyways. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, go. Keep going.
I need a window.
Keep going, go crazy.
Well, I was like, oh man, we can run into Darrow's kid, and then I was like, no, Darrow's from the future. His kid doesn't exist yet, unless
his
he
kid
does.
Came back with her. Lariel was on the ship, the Pluto ship, with Darrow, Lariel, Vito, Matthias, and whoever else was on that ship. They all came to the past, became big figures in the past. Maybe made.
I do want to say that the note you gave me, her name isn't in them. There's an Eloin,
but daughter perhaps.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Like it's already. Yeah, right.
Perhaps Darrow's daughter is Eloin.
Just so you know, Clovis right now is with Garen. Nosebleed just.
Just can't handle what's going on.
She just told me never
mind. Is Darrow
mind.
from the future, or is Darrow just exist in the past, and she had to travel back to meet Darrow?
Never mind, my sister doesn't need a lift anymore.
Okay.
I asked for the address, and she's like, nah, never mind.
Okay.
Eric is like, wow.
I have to think about possible things, but also try and think of the way you think, Tim, to try and put this together properly.
I just can't wait for this
I'm not even
recording
gonna
to be posted.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna watch it like 3 times.
I'm not even gonna waste any more time thinking about it. We're not gonna figure it out tonight.
Well, this is some interstellar nonsense.
Interstellar, Inception, all of it.
Yeah.
Interstellarception.
There's a lot
2001:
of
Space Odyssey.
There's a lot of postulating and or positing, not postulating, positing of what's going on here, and
I got my rant out there. I'm good.
So you've had a taste of the scope of what I originally designed the campaign to be. Just a taste of it.
Spelljammers.
Finally, something is out in the open. So, Uranus stands before you, possibly having
Back to
additional,
the game.
possibly having additional information. Just kind of like, so I'm sorry. The last thing that was said was you told him what the year was, right?
Mhm.
Well, I suppose I have two options. If you have need of my services or any other information, I can remain with you and travel as your aide, be your bodyguard. Or, what is more likely is I should return to when I am needed. And he motions towards the temporal orb that's about 15 feet from where you stand. This is another anomaly. An issue, something that pops up when things like time are tampered with. It's a risk we all know that we're taking, but I do know that touching this will bring me back to when I belong.
One quick question. How does it work? Like, you travel through time, but how?
That's above my pay grade, son.
All right.
I'm a fighter. I'm not a thinker.
Well,
Yeah.
Zender, kind of the fighter, right? He'll be able to figure it out.
Is this a piece of equipment that disappears once you touch it, or
I have no idea.
I feel like it would be dangerous to experiment without the puddle jumper handy.
It's possible that once I touch this, that everything that's been stuck here for all this time will be inert. That would
Crashed.
be a problem for you to deal with.
So if you're gonna touch that, just to be sure, how about you wait like what, 2-3 minutes so we can make it back to our solo jumper?
Well, can you
Well, I-
touch it without, or do you have to be in the chamber and we touch it for you?
I know about as much as you do, with the exception of the fact that I have heard of and have been told about these, and that if something like this were to pop up, as it were, and cause some kind of problem, that we were to interact with it, and it would take us back to when we belong.
Explains it. I had a vision of one interrupting our drop. I don't know if that was part of the plan, or that's what's caused. If someone else has intervened, I should say, or something else has intervened.
Does that magic box have anything to say about the interaction with this thing?
Talking about
I'm
the data pad?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll scroll it very quick.
Okay. Make an investigation check. We haven't rolled anything in a while. You can have somebody help you if you want.
I will
Somebody who
help.
speaks Sylvan. Somebody who speaks Sylvan, obviously.
I will help.
Okay. It's referenced several times through the safety regulations, the documentation about a soldier and what they should be concerned with, and in the very, very like 0.00001% chance that something like this happens, because it is very, very rare, that they, should they choose to, touch this anomaly, and it will bring them back to potentially a version of when they are supposed to be. It is known that not everything is a single plane. That's what it's not like said, but it's alluded to. Like we know that you could go somewhere, right? And just a point of clarification, this is with Eric's rant. It's like it's not just that there's a loop here, because B2 experienced several different locations of being deposited after having touched this orb, right? And one of which was basically right at the feet of Lyriel. So not in all realities is this how this happens. This reality, obviously, is the one where it happened.
They tried and failed, tried and failed, tried and failed. That's why.
So
the Doctor Strange one.
So Uranus, you would know from reading this that he knows that he might not be going home. He might be going somewhere else. But
what would you like, soldier?
I am here to serve. I was created for a single purpose. That purpose may not be realized. I give you, as one of clearly higher rank than myself, I am at your service, but if I am no longer at your service, then I will take my chances elsewhere.
Give me a moment. Let me think on this. And I'm gonna pull Tael Noro to the side. It's Darrow in here. B2 is kind of suffering from some shock, and I'm not going to lie, I am too. But we'll talk about that at a campfire. That seems to be our go-to. What do you guys think? What do we? If this is an anomaly, I think we're playing with fates or things beyond our control. And if the possibility that him touching it sends it back, I think that is the right choice.
I mean, if you think so, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of this is above my head. I ain't sure what's going on. Xander, the time magic guy. All I know is, I mean, you're a tough fella, and he's kind of like you, and it wouldn't be too bad having another set of hands along.
No, but in the spiked gloves, if you get a job, you do the job. You don't abandon the job. Like, even if it's difficult or things go sideways, you find a way around it and you finish the job. Like, that's what we're getting paid for. And I don't know what his purpose is, but will he feel fulfilled if he doesn't complete his purpose, Clovis?
One quick thing as well. I feel like just having one giant metal guy already makes us like. Is it conspicuous or unconspicuous?
No, it's conspicuous, and you say this
and
with a giant metal backpack.
Yeah, but I can cover it up more easily with like a blanket and just say I'm a humpback.
That's not conspicuous at all.
Says the guy with fire hair. I feel like having two
all right. We're not pointing
giant
fingers
metal
here, Clovis.
guys might be even worse.
Well, I think that. I mean, I don't know what kind of timeline that we're in, but I feel like it would make the most sense to fill him in on our situation and be honest and give him his best shot at going home. If he gets home to the future, he can relay what he's found out from us about the current I guess, timeline, and maybe there's some kind of assistance that they can send from their end afterwards. But for now, I think the best thing to do is send a message to the future.
Wait, if he's from the future, couldn't we ask him about maybe if he knows anything about the Chainless's plans, or?
But we don't know anything about him or where the Chainless could turn into these people. We don't know what he's about. Send him on his. We shouldn't have interacted with him, honestly. We've we've plucked the wings off of some sort of winged butterfly creature. Honestly, this is. I'm so terrified. Razir, where's your stance again? I think I'm with you now.
Bringing along muscle helps, but like I said, this is above my head, and if the smarter folk of the group think that he ought to be on his way, then I ain't gonna argue about it.
I'm not smart. I'm with Razir. Figure it out. I don't know. This hurts me deeply in my fiery soul.
I'll look towards Darrow. I mean, ultimately, it is up to you. This is part of your story that you've forgotten. It doesn't seem like he knows much, but I mean, in terms of maybe lifestyle that was led, and you can kind of piece yourself together, and I mean, at least piece B2 together. I mean, I don't know. We don't. All of these timelines are so intertwined and topsy turvy. We don't really know where it starts and where it ends. It might be best to just relay what we have, try and get as much out of him as we can, and send him on his way.
Unless the Red King is who establishes all this because he fails in this timeline, and so he wants to try to go back and influence even greater. We don't know their origins or where they even come from. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep talking because I've said that I don't know, but I'm concerned about every possibility now. And Razir, where are we standing again? I'm gonna stand with Razir some more.
At this point, I'm standing back. That's where I'm standing.
I'm gonna stand over here with Razir. You
Okay. All right. All right. I'll walk back to him. All right.
Razir, I think we should kill it.
Yeah, beat
I
it to
think
death
that's
with
the-
hammers.
I think that's the worst option here.
Oh, all right then.
There's just a few more questions, if you don't mind.
I'm at your service.
Does the name the Red King or Chainless, does that trigger anything?
No.
Okay. And I'll kind of give him a quick rundown, just a Spark Notes kind of summary of what I understand, obviously, and some of the confusion of like how we met. Bring up my notes. Give me a second.
There's an asterisk attached to everything.
How
I'm about to
you
say.
are everybody in one body.
Yeah, and that we've met Nerelman, the cat, who recognized me as a knight from the Fey Royal Court. So in some way, Warforged do exist, but time works differently. Like we understand that kind of, but like, see if that deciphers anything. Yeah, take notes.
Didn't even Cerberus recognize him?
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
And I have an
Cerberus,
I
sorry.
have an idea about that.
So did
Charlie Day.
the captain of the Outcast was like, hey, I've seen like. So there's been people who've recognized a Warforged, and it's been a kind of a diverse group, if I'm being honest. They, Shadowfell, Mortal Plane.
You have to think this is not Uranus responding.
Yeah.
If the armies of Warforged were sent into the past to fight the Titans and they were successful, there would be plenty of them left around to become royal guards amongst
Yeah,
the courts in the Fey realm.
That was my thought.
That's my thinking too. But like it's still my brain hurts.
I know. It's a big brain story. It's a big brain story.
And sadly, we all
I have an
small
intellect
brains.
of 8. Tim.
Yeah, but Chris doesn't though. This is for all of us to
No, this
enjoy.
is
It's not just for you.
B2 has an intellect
It's-
of 10. He's actually okay.
It's not. This is not just for the characters. This is for the players as well to have a really cool story. But
see, I love this. This is great, but it's also like, darn you, Tim.
This is brain melting.
it's a lot. It is a lot. And
if I'm
Anyways.
being honest, I'm not saying let's end the session. We can ask some questions, but I don't want to make the decision on what to do with this guy tonight. I really need to process everything. If that's okay,
sure.
I really want to think through, and I will watch this again because there's some moments where like I didn't write stuff down because I was too busy going.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Did you just ask him a question, or were you?
No, I was just saying I gave the spark notes of everything.
Oh. I think that we are from slightly different times and possibly slightly different timelines or realities or universes or whatever however it is this is not my field of expertise. What I can say is a question I have. And he reaches like underneath his armor and like up into his chest cavity, and you hear a click, and he like removes the front portion of his chest, just like comes off. You can see tell that it's hinged, and it like opens up. And on the inside there is a translucent crystal on the inside. It is not glowing, it is just a crystal. There's energy that's like just for lack of a better, it's like wires kind of like running through it. There's like energy going through it, but it's not glowing as though there's a living person. And you get the sense that he's showing you that he's not, he's synthetic. He was not a person that was transferred into this body. They created the Warforged and gave them sentience. You are, and so he like motions to you, like to do the same. And
Mine opens, but mine.
well, if you remember correctly, you like Xander, you guys had trouble getting it open,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So
That's
he like shows you this is how you do it, like, and you like are open. It just easily now click, and your whole chest opens up, and now the inside is
You have
there.
to pull the hood pop latch, and then also there's a lever you pull to get the hood
I forgot
open.
about the button, and the lever. Yeah.
So
Hold the flashlight.
he touches his crystal inside of his chest. Uranus is a name I gave myself because all we were given were designations, and I have, I believe, you to thank for that. And he doesn't touch you at all, but reaches his hand like almost inside of your chest cavity and just motions towards each, because you have an orange, you have a white, and you have a blue crystal on the inside. And he kind of like just tilts his head to the side slightly and motions. Beautiful. You are unlike any of our kind. Seems as though Lyriel edited the original construction, whoever that was, to accept what you are. But you have told me that you said, did you tell him that you're Darrow? Or no?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
did. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are Darrow, and you're saying that. Sorry, you said you gave him the. Did you tell him that Lyriel was one of the other ones, or?
So that is one of the questions. Like, I know that she has the
You have that
crystal.
white crystal.
Yeah, but like,
I was trying to make that as obvious as I possibly could.
Okay.
No,
Okay. No. No.
Is she dead?
Because I'm seeing
Has she
like
been
there's
transferred in yet? What?
Right.
I'm sorry. My question was when we first looked in his chest, what two crystals were glowing? Was it the orange and the blue one, and not the white one?
Correct.
Yes.
So she's not in there.
She's not in there.
So
Is
she
it
either
glowing
didn't die
now?
or
Tim, is it glowing now?
Well, so I guess there's a little bit of confusion. So the glowing means that they are active and are able to dominate the body and take it over. It doesn't mean that the person's not in there. So you're not
right.
saying that Lyriel's not in there. The
Might
white
be
one, the
just
white one is just
not
she may be
popping up.
dormant.
Dormant.
And maybe the reason why she's coming up in visions and visible to both Darrow and B2 outside, like in their consciousness, where others can't see her, but B2 and Darrow can. Which hold on before you ask your question.
okay.
Which tells you that people in these crystals can be dormant. If that's the case. I'm being way too vague. I'm like I have this really, really cool structure without just like telling you all the information. And it's like so it's possible for personalities or people that are in these crystals to be dormant, which means first of all, Uranus would tell you that all the Warforged have these like translucent crystals. They don't have like souls, right? And he refers to the crystals that are inside of you as solium crystals, or solium gems, sorry, which were invented by Lyriel to be housed inside of the Warforged body. So like through your conversation, I'm just going to try and help because there's a lot of ideas, but it's tough when it's really complicated. A couple questions. That you would have if Lyriel is in there and she's dormant. Does that mean that Darrow was also dormant? And then you're like, oh right, Darrow was dormant for a while and surfaced. Does that mean that Lyriel can surface? If the crystal that's blue is B2, who is B2?
Who is B2?
That's the other question. Because all of the other Warforged that were copied were basically blanks that were given sentience by whoever created them, the Fae, as a copy of what Lyriel created originally. So she found, just to be crystal clear, Lyriel found a blank.
He edited it.
She edited it to accept solium gems.
3 of them, in fact.
Why?
One.
Why 3?
Kid.
Why not?
That's why he's naive and doesn't know stuff.
Ah, biscuits.
Could be. Yeah. Very much.
B2 T8.
So then that bugs the question. When Darrow was seeing her at the battle, was he seeing her like really her, or was he seeing like a vision of her that just played well for that moment, you know?
You mean in the battle where Matthias Terramore, you found out Matthias Terramore was your commander? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, against Cerberov when she first showed up.
Ah.
Like, is that like today her? Is that future her? Or is that just like, there was one time when Darrow was taking longer to get up. She was like, "Get up, Darrow."
Or is that the locked up consciousness?
Was it a memory, or was he seeing her, or?
And I'm not asking for an answer. I'm asking because now that
just to pose it
philosophically,
because that's stuck in my head.
Okay, so now I have gotten to the point where I have given as much information as I'm going to give.
It's not up to us.
Please.
Uh,
Just give me all the answers.
because I can't just give. I told you, Chris, I wasn't going to give it all away, and that there were
We'll get
going to
the
be way
notes.
more questions.
I told them I will sneak onto your computer and find all the answers.
Dude, you
Um,
can't tell the
so-
guy.
He can't stop me. If I really wanted to, he couldn't stop me.
So, what we will do is in the middle of this conversation, where we're unless you want to, we can carry this on for a little bit if you want to. Were there any other questions that anyone else wanted to ask Uranus in this? Because it's nice to carry the hype and the excitement in the moment into these questions instead of like starting fresh next week and it's like, oh, we're in the moment.
Actually,
I have
Blackstar has
one.
questions.
I
have
don't
one.
have any more questions for him. So,
Alex,
What's the faction called that you serve? Like who? I know you're, Glimmer Deep Fey Court, or if are you the Glimmer Deep Fey Court?
we are.
Where do you know your origins? Do you know your history?
A society of people that lived underground, saved themselves from the lack of protection from the sun that scorched the earth, and an entire army was forged in secret to the incredible beasts that roamed the apocalyptic wastelands of the surface.
This is after the first Titan attack, then.
This is after the Titan attacks.
Oh, all of Razir, how many were there?
For us, there were 4
that's a great question.
This is all of
so
Faerun.
far.
Still,
Yeah,
like,
my question was similar. What of your history do you know where the Titans came from, or did they go somewhere after they?
What's the
After you-
working theory?
The gods were
Trying to
angered.
make some connections. All right,
It's always about the gods.
kind of what we've got too.
they're petty.
This is
I-
the Fey realm. Go, Clovis.
I also have a question, kind of selfish. Do you know about the guardian of Dragonback Peak?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right.
Clovis, I think he's from another realm. I don't think he knows about the Dragonback Peak.
Yeah, but you know about stuff that's happened here, like the Titans.
Yeah, but I think he's only. Have you dealt with them? Are you Fey realm specifically? Have you done anything on the material realm at all?
Never.
See, see, Clovis, he doesn't know anything about us. Have you seen one of me, or maybe one of Clovis? This is Clovis, the small one.
Hello, Clovis.
Hi.
Hello, fiery-haired one.
That's fine. I love
He
that.
wasn't like that before Victor experimented on him.
Correct,
to
that
make
was a
him into
normal
fire
person.
guy.
Who's
Thank you.
Victor?
He was,
This is like
I think we're getting
Victor
off track. here a
5,
little
your
bit.
brother.
Yeah,
Um,
oh
totally.
man.
after the decision was made to have these plans for the future, all history was tossed aside because all those that lived in the future with the preparations of saving the past, their lives were forfeit. Nothing
Were there any?
mattered.
Were there surface dwellers in the Fey realm still, or were you the only bastion?
There were a faction or two that rose up that lived on the surface. The army wasn't created overnight. It was over the course of hundreds of years. In order to have an army large enough to fight off the Titans, has to be many millions.
How many attacks did you suffer in the Fey realm, and when did they start?
Can you repeat the question?
How many attacks from Titans did you suffer in the Fey realm? And then when do you know the year that they started? Were you in existence, or were you a later model?
This was long after the Titans attacked. I was created long after that. It was...
He's processing his servers real quick. Give me a
Yeah.
second.
It was before all of the bastions were sent back. It was approximately 400 years prior to that the Titan attacks occurred.
The bastions were sent back in 3269.
Mhm.
And it was 400 years prior to that.
That the Titans attacked. Took them a
Which would be 100 years
That's 100 years before.
this. So the Fey
Approximately.
Realm came.
which is when the first cataclysm happened.
So it's about the same time then.
But
Give or
we're in a
take.
timeline.
But the first cataclysm was not a Titan attack.
We're in a timeline
the first
where the
cataclysm.
Fey Realm the Fey Realm exists and
Is it
succeeded.
approximate?
Around the same time.
So whatever the first cataclysm was that created Anchor's Folly caused the Titans to appear in the Fey Realm. In our timeline, they successfully stopped them in the Fey Realm. After that, we got the Titan attacks in the material plane. Whether that's a result of the Titans being stopped in the Fey Realm, or if that was going to happen anyways, if there's parallel there, more red strings.
Does the anchor have something to do with time?
Oh, most definitely. This is Tim we're talking about.
It's true.
Absolutely.
He is
I-
Father Time.
Yeah.
The anchor transcends all of that nonsense.
Of course it does.
Okay, Tim.
Dude, in before Varaloth is Darrow's long lost child, and he's out for revenge. He's out for revenge because he's like, "You left me.
Oh, yeah.
You were the chosen
abandoned
one."
me!"
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that with all of that, did Razir have one more thing?
Mine tied into what Blackstar asked with the
history.
how much he knew.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, with all of that being said, and all of the lore that transpired today, maybe we'll get to Tael Noro next week. But I think that
Maybe.
I think
We're gonna have two
Chris
sessions
will
of
be
just
like this
talking.
next week too.
There's going to be a lot of RP following this. There's going to be so much chitter chatter.
Oh my
Alright.
god.
Poor
We'll see.
Jay.
But,
He's gonna come back and be like,
oh my-
"What?"
yeah.
Good thing
So-
there's a recording of this for him to watch.
So that is where we will go ahead and end tonight's session.